Welcome to the Hop Edition podcast, brought to you in association with The Malt Miller, your go-to choice for premium homebrewing ingredients and equipment. Whether you're a beginner starting out or an experienced brewer, The Malt Miller has got you covered. So for top quality products and customer service, jump over to themaltmiller.co.uk and tell them the Hop Edition sent you. We would also like to thank all our Patreons for their continued support with running and developing the pod. If you would like to become a member and gain access to exclusive perks and benefits, head over to patreon.com/The Hop Edition. Now it's time to get this pod started, so crack open a homebrew and enjoy the episode.
Hey, welcome to episode 86, and we're going to be discussing sexy yeast, and we've got a commercial drink along that we posted out on Facebook. So if you have those cans, you're up for a cracking night with us, lads. Well, tonight, yes. The beer's actually from our good friends at the Malt Miller who sorted us out, and yeah. Before we get started, I just want to give a quick, massive shout out to the Malt Miller, who are the supplier for everything, basically homebrew in the UK, from pots to paddles and malts to miscellaneous salts. Check out their top quality ingredients, brewing equipment, and craft beers. That didn't quite rhyme, Owen, sorry, mate, but yeah.
A man does try. What can I say?
Well, we sit boozing in the happy, drinking and getting it off a happy. Anyway,
I'm not a poet. Sorry.
That was absolute rubbish for me for Tamashana, but yeah, there we go. Anyway, also, remember there is a dedicated Hop Edition recipe section at Malt Miller where you can find a range of beers that have featured on the podcast, including some of our own creations and some absolute stunners from our guests as well. So go and try them out. And special teaser for our live listeners, keep your eyes peeled on Sunday because the Malt Miller are going to be doing a giveaway. So just watch this space. Also, finally, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Helps massively to try and get that up and running, and our Facebook page as well, so you can stay up to date with all the latest announcements of what podcasts are coming up. And it means then you can come and join us on the live streams as well, so you get a wee heads up. It's good fun. Join in the chat. Make sure you guys post lots of banter, and yeah, links are in this for the socials are all in the description as well. So first of all, we are going to be doing some homebrew tasting of what we've basically got in tap at the house at the minute. Who wants to go first? Chris, on you go.
I'd like to go first because there's been a certain member of our audience who's been giving me shit for not actually brewing. So, I actually have in my hand a rather pleasant IPL, which I brewed, which has Cryo Idaho 7 and quite a lot of cashmere in it. It's my standard sort of Vienna Pilsner Vienna Carapils base, fermented out with Voss. Really nice beer. And my good friend Simon Seaton came round. He had some, and he couldn't work out what the hops were. But like he said to me, there's a distinct lack of citrus, so it's clearly not Citra. It's such an easy drinking beer. It's really nice. It tastes gorgeous, and I really, really like this beer. I'm going to post the recipe right now, into Discord. So if you guys want to make this beer, don't worry, the hops will only cost you about 40 quid.
No way. Chris,
I don't know how much cryo is these days, but
how many grams? What's the kind of rough grammage on it.
I can tell you the exact grammage if you want. We can show people if they would like to see it. Let's see that there. No, I don't want that button. I want that button.
I don't want your
There.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, you don't want my OnlyFans up, do we, at all? So I'll share this with people. So IPL V6, it's got 100 grams. It's got 15 grams of pearl at 15 minutes because I wanted a
Nice.
noble base.
Yep.
It's got a 30-minute whirlpool with 100 grams of cashmere and 25 grams of Idaho 7 cryo.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got 120 gram cashmere dry hop and a 50 gram Idaho 7 cryo dry hop.
Okay.
Fermented out with quike, Voss quike. Yeah, quike. I'm trying to fight back a burp. Excuse me. And it was fermented, whatever the temperature is on the recipe, it wasn't fermented at, it was fermented at 32. It was done in about 34 hours, I think it was, start to finish. And then I cold crashed it to 14 for the dry hop, left them in for it wasn't quite 3 days. 3 days would have put me like in the middle of sleeping. So it was just slightly less than 3 days, and crashed it, kegged it, bish bash boshed it.
Rapid?
Very rapid. It was
a week. Is it basically a week?
It was less than a week turnaround. It was less than a week. But the most important part is this bit right here, right? Mashed at 70 degrees, body for days on this beer.
Do you know what the final gravity was?
The final gravity was exactly what it says up here, which was 1010.
Yeah, because Voss is a beast.
Voss will ferment your shed if you give it half a chance.
It can go quite dry, so that the higher mash temp's probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely saved my ass with this one. But lovely, lovely, lovely beer. Yeah, I really like this one. It's on my rebrew list every time it runs out. So yeah, great beer.
4.5%. Yeah, good.
4.5. Yeah, nice beer. Nice beer. Very crushable. Yeah. I'm gonna stick the recipe in the chat. So one of you boys take over. Tell us what you're drinking.
I had a question actually about your beer, Chris.
Sorry, Owen, go
on. Can I just see it? I just wanted to see it. It's a little bit hazy, but not mega hazy.
No.
Nice.
Still got a bit of clarity. Yeah, it's good clarity. It's just a slight haze, but not much.
It does have, I didn't actually list it on there because I add it to all my beers when I pitch. It had the Malt Miller branded gluten reducing clarity stuff, MBS clarity in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that using that, number one, it kind of prevents the beer farts. And number two, it actually has a really interesting effect on flavor clarity for me, which sounds weird, but it does seem to make the hops pop a little bit more. That's not scientific, that's purely anecdotal, but I have noticed that it does seem to make them pop a little more. That's just me.
Yep.
All right. So you're calling it an IPL, but it's
it's a nipple, mate. It's a nipple.
Is it even a lager technically?
It was lagered. It's been lagered for 2 weeks.
All right. Okay. Just like every beer. Okay, we'll move on from that debate.
It is what it is.
Tricky. Tricky rolling his eyes right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, it doesn't count the kissing your sister. That's what the statement comes out.
I don't kiss my sister.
Kissing your sister doesn't count. Come
on. I have no idea what style it is, but I suppose the nearest thing that you could put it into would be a pale ale.
Yeah.
But it's so, I don't give a shit. Don't label my beer, man. Right? It's a great beer and it drinks really well, and that's the most. Oh, and thanks goes to Ron Muir, who sent me the 25 gram pack of cryo that went in my whirlpool.
Excellent.
Thanks, Ron.
What ledge?
Yeah, top bloke.
Yeah. Ron's good.
He's a good lad.
Crack on. I'm going to post this recipe.
I'm drinking my Metzen, which has been sat lagering for quite a while, but got nice clarity on it.
Is it Chris's recipe with a twist or anything like that, or
It's Chris's recipe. It started as Chris's recipe.
yeah?
Is all I'll say to that.
Yep.
It's not wildly different to Chris's recipe. It's probably just like toned back a little bit in a few areas.
Okay, so because it is still quite dark.
Yeah, it is quite dark. Yeah, it's
Looks
like
amazing.
it is a dark copper color.
Yeah.
Probably a bit on the dark end for the style, but it's just really lovely, sweet brown bread on the nose. Not a lot of hop aroma. Maybe just something a little floral that accentuates that sort of sweetness a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit too cold at the minute, but it tastes damn good. Not super dry. It didn't go mega dry. I think it finished at about 10, 11.
Okay.
So it's not like a super crispy boy.
No.
And it's not super alcoholic. I think it's sort of about 5.5% rather than sort of 6+, which you might expect of a Oktoberfest beer. So it's a little bit more drinkable. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't drunk too much of it because I've been waiting to lager it, but I'm going to enter into the UK National, which needs posting this coming week. So we'll see how it fares.
Excellent.
It'll
Good
probably
luck
get
with that,
shot
mate.
down for not
Good luck
being
with it.
like being a little bit too dark and having a minor taste of caramel. Or they'll probably just claim there's loads of diacetyl in it.
Yeah. They'll say it's popcorn or some shit.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to be in it to win it, mate. So
Well, that's it. Yeah, the feedback.
Do you know
something?
something? I
I'm
will
not in it.
fucking piss my pants if by the time judging finishes, Owen's sitting there with the best in show beer.
Imagine
I'd piss my
how funny.
pants. I would piss my pants. I really would.
Yeah, you know that.
I don't think a Mertzen's ever winning best in show in reality. Although
Why
that
not?
said, Tricky did win with a
Hellas Bock
German
or something?
Pilsner,
No,
wasn't it?
Hellas. Was that
Export Hellas. That's
Export
what
Hellas?
it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Export.
You got to be in
never
it.
know. Don't forget no
Hellas
bubble
export.
wrapper, and I'm definitely putting bubble wrap in it.
Put fucking shitloads of bubble wrap in there.
Loads of it. I might put some of those, what do you call them? Those little foam peanuts.
Oh, get some of them in as well.
Might just chuck in a random Tesco carrier bag just for fun.
Wrap it all in a bin liner.
Poor Sarah.
Yep. Who? Anyway, move on.
Me?
Can I just say before you
Yeah.
start,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
daughter needs to have her artistic talents fucking
Oh, Jess.
nurtured, mate.
Jess
Stunning.
is amazing.
Stunning.
She gets lots of Sarah gives her lots of artistic materials and stuff like that. So she was sitting painting her face. She's just doing face paint. She's got a big melon. She's painted a
Turning
melon
herself
on her
into
face.
a watermelon. It's-
Watermelon.
I've
Like-
seen, being a teacher, I've seen lots of kids' artwork as I've gone through my life, and I've seen when I was a teacher
She's
anyway.
good. Yeah.
You see a lot of it, and that
She loves
is
it as well.
some Andy Warhol shit right there, mate.
Yeah.
She
the water
needs
painting.
that one nurturing. Anyway, go on. That was just
Yep.
It was awesome.
She was, and the other one to big up was Matthew as well. He was doing his Tam O'Shanter's house, doing a bit of Tam O'Shanter. I'm rubbish at that sort of thing, but Matthew was like, I think he did about 3 different verses or something, and it goes on for quite a bit. And the boy has got some memory, so he is the bard of the house.
Is it a poem or?
Tam O'Shanter, yeah. It's
Okay,
Robert
right.
Burns. Because it was
Yeah.
Burns. It was Burns a week ago. So
Yeah,
so it's definitely Burns
I did
season
watch
just
it
now.
actually because you posted it on Facebook, didn't you?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't understand quite a bit of it.
Like
Just
10%.
straight up. I'm like,
you know, some
he's
English
making
words come.
noises. I think he's speaking English. I can't understand it.
He's clearly not speaking
He's got
English.
a proper thick accent.
Oh, I think he hams it up though for the poem.
I
Right?
figured he might.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he was excellent. Really, really proud of him. So that was amazing this week. So the two of them are just
Bless him.
brilliant. Yeah. Okay.
Tell us what you're drinking.
I brewed the Arbor Sea Bomb, which is the 60-minute whirlpool with the Citra hops, and it's like, I think it's how many grams? 6 grams per litre in the whirlpool, and then it was you're meant to do 6 grams in the dry hop, but when I've done it in the past, it's not quite where I want it to be, so I upped it to 8 this time, with it being homebrew, and it's smashing. I also took Hoddy's advice and put some salt in the last 10 minutes of the boil. And it was, for a 5 gal batch, it was about 3.5 grams of salt I put in as well. And I just think it just transforms it. It's just got super, like, pillowy body sort of thing. And yeah, it's got flaked. I think it's got flaked wheat in it as well. But and I used that Dingerman's Pilsen malt. But I'll show you. Aye, it's that kind of
Lacing for days.
oh, it's like pillowy foam, but I just get like bags and bags of like pineapple and peach off it. Yeah, and it's one of those ones that's just so drinkable. So I think it worked out 4.7%, and it is like one of the best pale ales I've brewed, I think, in the brewery by it's the salt. I think it's the key.
I think it's safe to say, Andy, that you've got enough Citra to be able to rebrew that a few times.
Oh yes, 5
Especially if
kilos
you're only putting 8 grams in as the dry hop.
8 grams per litre.
8 grams.
Yeah,
per
I
litre.
know I'm taking a piss, but yeah.
Yeah, so no, it's good.
Did you do the kind of hour-long whirlpool that you did last time?
Yeah.
Is it carried quite a lot of bitterness across, or?
Well, that's what I think the salt's helping to
Dumbs
really
it right down.
brings that down. So when you're drinking it now, it's got this lovely sort of balanced bitterness, and but it's just packed with hop juice. It just coats your tongue in just hop juice. Yeah, and it's not like acrid bitterness or anything like that. It's just what you would want from a commercial. It's like a commercial what you would buy. It's just spot on, and I'm like, is it? I think it's the salt.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sometimes I find with that style of beer is you get the aroma that you're looking for, but the flavour doesn't quite carry the same aroma. You don't get that kind of. I drank a beer last night from who was it from? Beak. It was a Beak beer. It was an IPA called Leaf, I think, and just the flavour on that beer was just immense.
Yeah,
Just like proper tropical flavour. Sometimes I find my hoppy beers don't quite carry that same kind of really juicy character. So I do wonder if that little salt trick. Also using like mega fresh hops, right? And perhaps things like cryo and all the rest of it.
Hoddy says for a 5 gal 23 litre or whatever you do, he was saying 5 grams. So I kind of toned it back. This was on a 10 gal batch that I did, and I slightly toned it back. But yeah,
nice.
That salt addition, man. That salt addition's got a lot to answer for.
That's the second beer now because the low ABV had salt in it, and it was incredible.
Makes a difference.
I think I might be trying that on my next hoppy beer.
Because I wonder if it's the calcium that just gives it that, when you have like calcium chloride heavy, and it just gives you that sort of that kind of weird chalky, not chalky, but that it's just too soft in the mouth. Like it's almost like kind of flabby. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. Flabby. It gives that flabbiness. Whereas I think actual sodium chloride seems to just moves away from that, but brings all that sort of pillowiness. Like kind of flock, to describe the body, it's like a flock beer where you get that sort of crazy pillowiness.
I mean, Stewie's asked when do you add it?
Salt, 10 minutes at the end of the boil.
Yeah, but you'd have to brew in order to add that salt.
Well, he's unemployed again, so he's excited about brewing.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, sodium chloride, Jill, 5 grams at about 10 minutes to go. Makes a massive difference. Drops that perceptible bitterness right the way down. Really accentuates the flavour. It's a good one.
And try the whirlpool for 60 minutes, because commercial breweries have that crazy extended long whirlpool times because it takes so long for them to actually bring the heat of theirs down. So you extract more flavour, I think.
I'm getting shit off Stewie again. Must be a day with a Y in it. Shall we get on with this then? Shall we crack on? Because we have got some bangers lined up for you tonight, boys. The order for the beers tonight is, first and foremost, we have Good Chemistries Brewing and their bitter Bob's Best. Bitters do not get, for me, the recognition that they deserve, because bitters, done properly, are one of those beers that will keep you coming back to drink loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of it. So do not sleep on bitters. The second beer that we have coming along is, I love you too, Stewie. You know that, man. The second beer that we have coming along is from Double Barreled, and it's their Pale Ale Parker. Now, the weird thing about Parker is there's a different version of it at the moment, which is out and about. However, Parker is the original. It's the lower ABV. It's the sessionable beer. And our good friends at the Malt Miller, we talk a lot to Stiffo because he's got a hilarious name. And also he's a really top bloke. I love Stiffo to bits. And he recommended Parker.
Oh, did he?
He recommended Parker because, in his own words, it's one of his favorite beers of all time.
Oh,
and I'm like, well, let's give it a shot, because let's face it, was it Cascade and Centennial?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Chris. Is it Centennial? But yeah, I think that's what I read. And Centennial's one of these ones I want to really brew another beer with again, because it's such a banging hop for that. Yeah.
I don't think that Cascade and Centennial gets the love it deserves in this world of Equinaut and Citra and blah and all that lot.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot to be said about the classic combos. I mean, it's not like we all eat foams with our meals these days. That's something that's reserved for the restaurants. We all have fucking gravy, and some of us make it right. Yeah.
I made gravy tonight. Properly.
Yeah.
I think I made gravy 2 nights ago, and it was with Visto.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Scumbag.
Band. We also have the last beer, which is from Lost and Grounded Brewers. It's their IPL Running with Scepters. Now, Running with Scepters is a classic, okay? Personally, I've only ever had one can of it, and when I drank it, I was so drunk I don't actually remember drinking it. So
you can enjoy it tonight, Chris.
Mark, no, I don't. No, I don't. Don't. You can go off somebody, you know that. So, just to give you a little bit of background, if you had read our socials and you had listened to anything that we said, our friends at the Malt Miller put us together these 3 beers, which they had in their indie beer fridge, which is always well stocked. Yeah. And I kind of talked Stiffo into saying, give us a glass. So he put a glass into the mix. It's a Malt Miller branded. Look at that. Big, chunky. You know, there's a reason why you can break into your house through double glazing with one of them, because it's built to last.
Do you know what my missus said, Chris?
Go on.
Oh, great. Another glass that doesn't stack.
There you go. Perfect.
Mate, I am absolutely thrilled with mine. I am absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
I've just put my bitter on my hand pull, and this is great.
It's banging, isn't it?
A pint of bitter, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
It's a cranking glass. It's got a good weight to it as well.
It is.
Yeah, my missus didn't say a thing because she's not seen it.
Tactical.
Yeah, tactical, mate. The sort of the way that I came about with this with Stiffo is, let's face it, the last episode that we had was a wee bit heavy. Right? Be honest. Call it what it was.
The Impy Night.
The Impy Night was a bit heavy. Okay.
I was wrecked.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You were tricky.
Yeah.
Smashed all the beers. I still had COVID, so I was like,
oh.
And I just don't drink beers that big. So I think I finished one of them, which was Tricky's. And then I had like half of the others.
I
But
raided my fridge. I got an 8% stout out the fridge.
afterwards.
And for the after party.
Yeah,
And
I bet you did.
After all that, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Ouch. That Omnipollo stout just killed
Oh.
me. It was just obscene.
It was thick as hell. I didn't get any of it, but it was thick as hell.
Yeah, it was like soup.
Now, before we get to the secondary part of our pod where we're talking about various bits and bobs, we're going to crack the first beer. So
Right.
does everybody have Bob's Best to hand and a glass to put Bob's Best in? Let's get this one on the road. If you're drinking along, okay, it is the can that looks like this. It's the purple can, okay?
The one that says Bob's Best on it.
The one that says Bob's Best on it. Can art's actually really funky on that one. There's loads of information on this can as well, right?
Yeah, it's very
and
cool.
obviously, because this is a bitter glass, I'm going to put a bitter in it.
Well, that's where I had to disappear off to. I suddenly realised I didn't bring my malt miller glass up. So I had to
Here we
go
go,
find
boys.
it.
Let's pour this one out for you. Sorry, my arm's in the way of the microphone. I do apologise.
So some of the info in terms of the beer, it talks about it being a smooth and biscuity with aromas of dried fruit and a lovely bitter finish. So good, we put Bob's name on it. I
don't know who Bob is.
Yeah, it talks a bit about the OG at 1045, final gravity 1011, IBUs 52.
It's a great smelling beer. I mean, get your laughing gear around that one. It smells lovely.
It does. It smells beautiful.
Malty as hell. I can't wait. In fact, screw it.
Oh, yes.
I do not know who Bob is, but if Bob's put his name to this beer, Bob makes proper gravy.
Do you know what it reminds me of, Wary? See the smell?
Yeah, it's got quite a good hoppy smell to it, isn't it?
Yeah, I love this. This is nice.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of.
God, that is that, Wary.
What's that hop? The one you love in a bitter, Chris.
First goal?
Bramling Cross.
Oh, Bramling Cross, mate.
It does smell a bit like, that's what it's reminded me of.
Yeah, I stupidly poured the last bit out of the can into mine, so mine's gone a smidge on the hazy side. Brett's just posted a picture in the Discord, and it is as clear as day. Mine, there's a bit of... I'm going to be farting well tomorrow.
Yeah, mine's a little hazy.
Yeah, there was a bit of gunk dropped out of my can, to be fair.
A bit hazy, but don't
I have to say, I'm really enjoying that one. That's
nice.
What
do you think the hops are? Like Styrian... I think it's maybe Styrian Golden's in that or something.
I think EKG.
There's no... I'm going to say there's no Fuggles, but I bet there is Fuggles.
I'm going to say there's EKG in there.
I'm not picking up Fuggles.
I'm not. I don't think no.
Is there no information on the can about the hops?
No.
100% UK malted hops, so it's clearly not Styrian Goldings.
Oh, well. Okay.
No. Could be
I'd
UK
say,
Goldings.
if I had to guess,
well, that
based
is
on the flavour, I would say Fuggles and EKG.
Maybe. It's quite fruity, but then it is the yeast and the malts that change it.
You know,
yeah, that's funny.
There's a real problem with doing what we do.
Best.
There's a real problem with doing what we do because someone always one smart ass fucker in there, right?
Yeah, it's because it's got a witty thing.
And it's Brett. And he's basically posted, us lot are shit at pouring beers because his is crystal clear and everyone else has just dumped the can in. Because we're tight, Brett, unlike you.
I wanted to try and get some head on it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I gave it a bit. Gilles, first of all, where's Zanzi? Second of all, you're right. There is a lovely peppery finish on the end of this. It's nice.
That's beautiful. Super fruity.
Oh my God, that is such a banger.
Lovely dry finish.
Yeah. I don't notice that until
But
you
yeah,
said
it's
it,
bubbles
Owen.
now. Yeah, which pulls you in again. But it seems sweet because of the crystal malts that are in it, sort of thing. Do you think there's amber in that? A touch of amber malt? No?
Not that I can taste, no.
Hard to say. I wouldn't say it was a super complicated grist, if I'm honest.
It's good though, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Brett said it right when he just says that would not see many days on a handpull.
No, it wouldn't, would it? That would that would be getting rattled. See,
Rattled.
Oh, I'm gonna post this. Hang on, just a second.
God's best.
You definitely get more of a Fuggles flavour than you do
Yeah,
aroma, right?
Zanzi!
No.
Let's get a dog. Pictures
Yes.
of it.
Yes, love it. Right. So
Oh, hold on a second. No. I was like, is the malt mill got the recipe kit for it or something?
have they got the kit for it?
Do they?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, they visited Good Chemistry
did?
not too long ago.
Wow.
Normally they release a recipe.
Potential. Oh.
No. Is that Good Chemistry?
I love the fact that
Anyway.
Gilles sat there enjoying the podcast with his dog.
Well,
Anyway,
I know.
I think we've covered the fact that we all love this beer. Let's just quickly go around the room, give it a mark out of 10, okay? And give us a very short 5-second description of why. Andy, go.
I would say it's an 8 out of 10 for its style, sort of thing. It's very drinkable, nice, good fruitiness, and yeah, I'm not getting any crazy off flavors or anything like that you could sometimes get with these beers, where it's like you're getting that you're chewing on a twig, or you're getting some sort of mad like crazy peppery thing. I don't think I'm not picking up much pepper to be myself, but yeah, it's good. Love it.
I'm getting an ending of pepper. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I would give it a 7.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that for me, I think it's got a little bit too much body, weirdly enough, for a bitter. I like my bitters to have a little bit less body so that they're a little bit more drinkable.
But drier.
A little bit drier, just a smidge drier. Not much, maybe 2 points.
Tip for that though.
But I have to say, this is a banger of a beer. And aside from my little gripe with the body, I think this is an absolute fly. I love the hops. I love the malt bill. I love the flavour. I think it's an absolute cracker, to be fair.
Very.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and you muted, bud.
I was just playing with you. Are we scoring out of 10?
Yeah,
Yes.
give it out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7.5. I'm gonna split your scores.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautifully crafted beer.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it. It carries a lot of flavour. Like, it really coats your tongue, and there is like a strong like continuation of that flavour. It's pretty bitter. I quite like that. I think the grist is like, there's quite a lot of complexity to the flavour in the grist. And maybe I prefer my bitter to be a little bit not carry quite so much flavour.
Just a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, a little bit cleaner and a little bit like crisper.
do you guys find the carbonation's pretty on point?
The carbonation's bang on for me.
Yeah, it's just that very gentle, very, because this is a beer that you would have on cask, but yet we're drinking it in can. Okay, so this beer will probably be not completely different, but it will be a lot different.
Oh, it's going to
on
be different.
cask.
Yeah, defo.
Yeah.
It's super enjoyable. Yeah, it's very, very nice.
I'm not going to say no to another one. I'll be honest.
I wonder.
I'd do damage to 4 or 5 of those.
See
very
when
pleasant.
they put it on cask, I wonder if it would be drier. The recipe deliberately drier because in cask you don't have the carbonation. So that maybe that's why you're saying, oh, it's a bit sweet for what I like, but that's maybe because it's been canned. Whereas in
maybe.
cask, it'll be drier.
Yeah, because it'll finish off just that little bit, won't it? It's a lovely beer. Okay, so if you're drinking this one at home, do us a favour and stick your scores out of 10 into the chat so we can see whether or not we are full of it or not.
Brett
We've got a 6.9 out of 10 for Brett.
Yep.
Very specific.
Yeah, I think he's just going just under 7 or 69 reference, probably knowing Brett.
Dr. Sam in the chat said she thinks that the malt miller might have the kit for the ESB.
Yeah,
they do.
Chemistry.
It's been linked in Discord already by Brett. It's the one that Brooksy brewed.
It's
and
all
said it was good.
Yeah, it's all EKGA in the boil and then Bramlin in the whirlpool.
Oh.
A lot of Bramlin, actually. 92 grams of Bramlin Cross in a whirlpool for 30 minutes. Yeah, boy.
That's what we're talking about.
It's a decent amount, is that, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, Paul Fox has given it 8 out of 10. Gilles has given it 8 out of 10.
Oh, there's our main man.
6.5 for Tricky. Oh, yeah, we never mentioned Tricky's not here tonight.
Yeah, well.
Look him.
Yeah, given he is the host of the Hop Edition. The
Bramling, love that.
Yeah.
Mark can't comment because his taste buds are still fucked from COVID. But I think we're about right, 6, 7, 8, that kind of range, 7 or 8.
It's a good beer.
I'm not going to say no if somebody gives me another one of these. I'm certainly not going to say that, I wouldn't, if I had this on hand, pull be going back, or even on tap, going back and crushing a few. It's a great beer. I love it. It's really nice. Right. We do have another topic that we're going to chat about. Sorry, Andy, were you going to say something? Or were we just dancing?
Yes, we do have another topic that we're going to talk about.
We do. We have another topic. So one of the things that Andy has been talking about recently, and this is where I say, go on, Andy, introduce your little section.
Well, basically we want to chat about dry yeast because it's something that's dry yeast's come on quite a lot recently. We're getting a lot of new products into the market. I've been trying a lot of them and I've been really impressed, Chris. I don't know, what about yourself? Are you enjoying trying some new yeast?
I am. I'm enjoying trying some new dried yeast, to be fair. Having liquid yeast is fun, and there are certain styles that you can't really do justice to without a wet yeast.
Right.
However, there are some dried yeasts on the market that have come out that are, let's just say, Tricky, who's drinking along, says it's a 6.5. It's putting the bitter back in bitter, and he reckons it's got target hops in the boil. So he's giving it a 6.5. But he's got no taste buds, so let's just ignore him. Well, I think with the range of dry yeast that we've got coming out at the moment, specifically the ones from WHC, there's some good ones coming out from Lalmand. Where's the other ones? There was another dry yeast manufacturer bringing out some new ones. Was it Mangrove Jacks? Did I see a couple of new ones from Mangrove Jacks? Anyway, whatever it is, there's some new ones coming out on the market, and you never know, you're looking at a raffle. There's probably going to be more coming out soon because that's kind of the way that it rolls. People hit this little phase of doing stuff, and we end up with those coming out. So what new ones have you used? I'm going to speak specifically to Andy at the moment. What new ones have you used in the last sort of, let's say, 12 to 18 months?
So, so the Nova Lager was one that I tried, the Lalmand. Yeah, it was great because it fermented super quick. I'm used to doing lagers with lager yeast at 10 degrees or so, 10, 12 degrees. And it's a 2-week fermentation it does take its time. Whereas that, I was blown away how quick it went. But as times went on, I've got it. I did it with a kind of experimental hop. It was like a rice lager I did, and it just misses that sulfur touch. It's just not quite there. But I can imagine if you were doing like an IPL or something like that, maybe where you're not looking for as much of that lager sort of yeast flavour, then
You'd use
it could.
Voss.
You use Voss. It's not lager. Come on, you. But yeah, the standout for me that I've been using is saturated. I got a 500-gram baggie of that, and it is outstanding. Like the flavors, the beer I had at the start of the night, that what do you call it? The Sea Bomb. I brewed with saturated, and we've heard from quite a few of the commercial brewers as well, and they're all using saturated as well. And guys, if you're not using saturated, go get some from the Malt Miller, because it is banging, really, really good. But yeah,
I used that on the last beer I made. Actually, that was my bitter.
mm-hmm.
I'm not overlooking the fact that predominantly that yeast is used for the hazy boys, right? But it is. You can.
You get it a drop. Did you get it drop clear?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, it's getting there.
think
Didn't
my
keg
better.
it that long ago, so it needs a bit more time. But you can make your stouts and your porters with it, and
Yeah, just be well.
Yeah.
And I did my hand pull ale on it, and I don't know if it's because I've not put the floating dip on that keg, and it's just a bottom, and it's never pulling clear, still not pulling clear. So yeah, and I have gelatin. I put gelatin in, and it's still pulling haze. Yeah,
I semi-regretted not gelatining the bitter.
You can still do it. You can still.
Yeah, I could just chuck it in the keg.
Yeah.
But, I think with a couple more weeks, I reckon it will drop right.
Yep.
We'll see. We will see.
I use saturated in my bipper.
Did you?
Nice.
Yeah, I put saturated in my bipper.
Have
It's
you kegged it yet?
I dry hopped it this morning. I finally got some time. It's only a small dry hop.
Where did you go? Shut up.
40 grams of Citra Spectrum and 20 grams of Mosaic Spectrum.
So that's what, 2 packs of Spectrum? Is
3.
It? 3?
Nice.
Is it 18
That'll be
grams
great.
or something?
Because it's a 300 gram dry hop.
There's a risk with that kind of yeast.
Yeah, equivalent.
In a bipper is that you may end up getting some like perma haze in it.
It's black. I don't really care.
You can't see.
With a black IPA, it's kind of, you can still pick up haze in a dark beer, right? Unless it's jet black.
It's pretty black.
Then you end up with a kind of something that looks a bit muddy.
Yeah, it'd be fine. I don't drink with my eyes.
Might have to gelatin it if it's.
I'm not short of gelatin, mate.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We'll see what ends up with that one. The hardest part was actually dry hopping with the Spectrum, but I used saturated in that. I had 6 packs in the fridge, so I just chucked a couple in there. It went off like a rocket. Great little yeast, love it.
Is any of you guys use the Sanders yeast, which is that not the Alchemist's?
No,
it's supposedly the Conan.
Yeah, Conan
yeast,
strain.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I have used it. I may have used it a very long time ago, but that wasn't the dried version. I don't think.
Makes a great dipper. I've used it, and definitely, if you want to do a double IPA, I think that is a very, very good choice for that style. Whereas the Sanders, I feel like if you just want a juicy hazy boy, then go with the Sanders.
Yeah.
The saturated, you mean?
Saturated, did I say? Saturated for the hazy boys, and
Sanders for the
dippers. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, while we're talking about these new yeasts that are coming out, they all seem to be coming from this place, from WHC. And as you can see,
The cool packets, aren't they?
Yeah, there's quite a few of them floating around in my fridge.
Oh, you got the
Après ski.
Yeah,
I'm not.
What is après ski?
it's it's Switzerland, and it's meant to be slightly fruity. It's like it's meant to be a clean, fruity. I mean, how can you put? Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure. I remember Jimmy at Unity making a beer with a Swiss yeast.
So
I'm guessing that's the same strain.
Probably will be.
Probably. Yeah, I picked up some Spectrum whilst I was at the malt miller.
Yes,
and some Incognito and just some other stuff that I picked up. So
it's
not cheap. It's not cheap, that stuff, is it?
No, it's 10 quid a pack.
10, 12.
I'm not. Let's put it this way: I'm not going to be putting that into no fucking user upper beer.
No,
that's going to be a specific.
You would. But on the subject of WHC, they do seem to be coming out with a lot of dried yeast.
Jackie says it's S189 equivalent.
Hurleyman. Why is he not just on the podcast?
Well, maybe he's busy or something. I don't know. He gives some mad excuse, did he not?
Has he done a American Pie and glued his right hand to his dick again?
Maybe
is that what it is?
Maybe he had some.
Tricky again.
Facial.
Reconstructive surgery.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he was getting his nose done, wasn't he?
Some plastic surgery, and he doesn't want to come on the podcast.
He's changing
maybe
to Janet.
Maybe he's had his lips done. I don't know. But I think like WHC have got like a dried farmhouse yeast, which I'd be surprised if that's not the Lallemand farmhouse yeast that they released not too long ago. I mean, it's not. It's relatively common knowledge that WHC are just making good use on the fact that you can't patent
yeast, and they just rips everyone else's.
They're just ripping everyone else's yeast.
Well, so according to Andy Patterson, that's what he says, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I think
that's not common knowledge, boys.
That's not
common knowledge.
To be fair, it doesn't take it doesn't take Einstein to figure that one out, right? In terms of like, looking at the range of yeast they're bringing out.
Take that with a pinch of salt.
They've got one called Einstein, though, haven't they? I don't even know what that is. There's one called Einstein. I didn't actually get any of that one because I just didn't bother.
What's the one that we're gonna?
Oh, you fucking cheeky twat!
No.
Fucking cheeky twat.
Jackie.
Fuck off.
He's giving you shit even when he's not here.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Einstein, what is that? That is a German lager yeast with a clean profile. So I don't know what the yeast strain that would be. I also noticed, I'm just on the Malt Miller website, that WLP White Labs are now doing dry yeasts. So you can get London Fog, and you can also get WLP1, which is Chico strain.
Chico, yeah.
But
cool. That said,
so 5.
The dried yeast packs from White Labs are nearly 11 quid.
Wow.
So
let me see.
Yeah, or you could buy WHC LAX for $2.99.
Yeah. And, or you can even get it in a brick for like 40 quid and it'll do like your year's brewing.
Or you can get the same thing from Cross Maloof and pay a lot less. But to be fair, I would rather stick with the given the fact that there has been, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but there have been some yeast suppliers who have supplied yeast to friends of mine that have quite clearly not been the strain advertised. That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
Okay. All right. But let me tell you, it was not our wonderful sponsors, the Malt Miller, where everything that I've had from them has been exactly what it's supposed to be. Right. But there has been
see if it wasn't, Chris, even if it wasn't, the Malt Miller would proper just sort you out, wouldn't they?
They'd just be like, it's in an envelope, mate, you'll have it tomorrow. That's what it is. That's why we buy from them.
Yeah.
Has anyone noticed? I've noticed probably the last 6 months that the speed at which those guys get your orders out is
What,
just
like next day?
bonkers. Like
types?
literally,
Oh.
I'll order, say, on lunchtime, and
Yeah.
it's there the next day.
Yep.
I'm
It's
like,
mad.
This is mental.
I've
It's
got
brilliant.
a theory.
Love it.
I've got a theory, right? So Thomas might be able to set me straight on this because I think what's happened is,
They
right?
go, oh, that's a hop edition, boys. Just get it out rapid.
No. What it is when
Special.
Thomas isn't doing his job that he does around about the 25th of December every year,
He's doing the deliveries.
I reckon he's got the boys that work for him making all the toys over at the malt miller packing all the orders. That's what I think it is. I reckon that's
Donna
what
and
it is.
Blitzen working overtime.
Donna und Blitzen, yeah.
And
No, they're brilliant. I love the guys at the Malt Miller. If you order it and they've got it in stock, you get it very, very quickly. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Right, hopping pills, because I think we're planning on doing a.
I called it. Thomas has agreed. That's
Thomas
what
has
it
agreed.
is.
Hopping pills, Chris. It's
Yes.
the what do you call it? It's Oktoberfest type.
It's
Bavarian-
8:30, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Is
a
it
bock.
8:20.
It's 8:20.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oktoberfest
wow.
Lager yeast.
Hello, little lady.
So that's giving you that bit of sweetness at the end. So it
Mhm.
doesn't ferment all the way out. So it's got that sort of, well, it's an attenuation between 73 and 80%. So you could still, but yeah.
Depends on your mash temp for that one, doesn't it?
So Vine Stefan.
By Stefana. Yeah.
looking at the range of yeasts right on the Malt Miller's website,
it's great.
but just dried yeast, I don't think there's many beer styles you can't make using a dried yeast.
That's the thing now.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
that's the
crazy
good thing.
thing.
That's the good thing.
Because it
It's
was
mental.
like use USO5 or SO4 or
Nottingham.
not. Aye.
That's it. Yeah, it used to be SO4, USO5, Windsor, Nottingham, or just a pack of beer yeast.
From Wilco. Who knows what that
Wilco.
is?
Who knows?
Gold label.
I think it was Wilco yeast is Nottingham, isn't it?
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly,
go.
but just shove it in, see what happens.
I just think that there's a lot of good things which are going to happen in the yeast world. So the next point that we need to talk about is show you a dry that can make a good Czech lager. Not a clue, Brett. I don't think they're ever going to dry out Budweiser, are they? So, are we aware of any new yeast coming out anytime soon?
Oof. Good question. I wonder if they might start to release more Kvike yeasts. That
They're
seems to be
all out
kind
there,
of,
aren't they?
the most of them are. You got Voss, you got Hornendal.
Have I seen dried Ebergarden, or was I dreaming that?
I'm not sure I've seen dried Evergarden.
Oslo,
You've
Uber.
Is Lutra Uber?
Lutra's dried.
But is that Uber?
I don't know.
I
Was
thought
that
Thomas?
it was.
Omega?
Yeah,
That was
I thought
Omega.
it was.
The
Omega do
Lutra.
dried Lutra.
But is Lutra an actual bike strain, or is that
I
they
don't
just
know.
renamed it because that was their sort of branding?
We
don't
need
know.
somebody from Scandinavia to let us know that, don't we, Thomas? Come on, Santa, do your job.
But that's pretty exciting, because Kvike's been obviously around. It kind of started in the.
I knew I was right. Full Spectrum Ebergarden is available in dried. I knew it was. I'd seen it.
Full spectrum.
Yeah, so it's not the isolate, it's everything.
Oh,
Ah.
okay. All right. Who produces that?
I can't remember. I fucking look at so many websites. Most of them have got women with big tits on. But clearly I've seen it somewhere. Tits. Andy from Lalmand was hinting at West Yorkshire coming out as a dried yeast. Hell yes.
That would be good.
Great. That'll be
awesome.
That would
Well,
be in my fridge permanently, I think.
That's everybody's bitter
Yeah.
taken care of for the rest of time. Can I just say, Thomas, if the Lalman version of West Yorkshire that comes out as dry doesn't make it to you, I will box up 12 packs and I will send them to you as a gift from the Hop Edition. Trust me. I know how much you love those bitters, mate.
Because it all comes down to how commercially viable it is as well, isn't it? Because when
Yeah.
Andy was talking about the amounts, it was like you actually had to make crazy amounts of this stuff first to even get it through.
3
then-
tons, if I remember rightly.
It's a
3
lot.
tons.
I would imagine financially that's a fairly significant amount to wrap up
Yeah.
in what is then quite a
I'll
low
do some maths.
income return.
I need to do some maths. Give me a sec.
Because the 500 bags is probably where you want to be really doing the bulk of your sales, because the breweries, but then breweries are locked in with their recipes as well, aren't they? So to get them to start switching,
Yeah, I
could be tricky.
guess the commercial angle rather than just the homebrew angle is probably pretty crucial for a lot of people producing dry yeasts. I think a lot of, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing a lot of breweries favour dried yeasts over wet.
So when I spoke with Anthony at the Air Brewing Co, he during COVID, right, he lost all his yeast, his wet yeast, because the brewery had to shut down. And when you're using wet, you want to be constantly like using it. And then he was saying he was having to wash it in acid. And then, so he was saying the whole washing in acid thing was just a massive pain, but he did it as part of the brewery. But then when all that died and then it started up again, and then he got another pitch from another brewery, he started using that, washing, and then they shut down again during COVID, and that all went. He was like, you know what? He went to US05 and he was like, you know, it was like so much easier for him just to use that. And he was like, yeah, the beers were great, the quality was spot on, sort of thing. So he was just convinced now, I'm just going to keep going that way. So he'd switched to dry.
I'd imagine there's probably like, from just a price point, dry might be slightly cheaper than wet, and there's less risk of contamination. Plus, you don't need, like you say, you haven't got like all the process that sits around maintaining.
There's no massive
health
packet.
of. It's a lot smaller.
Price is more, but it's just less work. Wet's free when you can harvest your own yeast. It's just time, your time. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of breweries going to be cycling their yeast, aren't they? Right?
Yeah.
And they might even do that with their dry yeast, right? They'd pitch a brick, then cycle that yeast for 5-6 beers.
No, but when I was hearing what the Arran Brewery were doing, was they would use it for the year, and they had like open those Yorkshire Square type things in theirs, and they would harvest it for the year, and then what they would do is like a Valhalla, they called it, you know, like a big massive flipping crazy ABV, and that would be its final job, and then they would go back to the isolate from the yeast lab that they'd you know, because they'd stored it or whatever, and then get a new one made up again from the Gen 0, whatever it is. Yeah.
Cool. Just doing some rudimentary maths. If 3 tons is the minimum size that they can make,
yes, Chris.
Right? 3 tons is 3,000 kilos. 3,000 kilos is 3 million grams. So that's 300,000 packets of dried yeast at 10 grams.
300,000.
That's a lot.
And I don't remember if it was 3 tons or 5 tons that he said. If it was 5 tons, that's 500,000.
More.
That's 500,000 dry yeast packs.
Yeah. So you do it once, and then it's like
you do it once every 2 years.
Yeah. So that's what they must do, though. They must just do one big batch. I mean, yeah.
But if you take into account some of these big yeast manufacturers, people like Omega and Lalman and, you know, all these other people that are making the dried yeast, clearly they're not just selling in the UK. They're selling in America. They're selling in the UK, selling all the way across Europe, South America, Australasia, New Zealand, right? You've got all of these places, okay? And the bottom line is 500,000 packets doesn't go far when you're talking about the entire globe's worth of homebrewers.
Yeah.
So it literally does come down to demand when it comes to dried yeast.
How many homebrewers do you think there are in the world?
I reckon there's probably 100,000, maybe 200,000 in the UK.
That many?
I reckon there's that many.
I would have
200,000 in the UK. I reckon that might be a bit of an
I think 30,000.
overestimation. I'd say 50,000.
No, I would say more than that, definitely. I would say probably 5% of the population in the UK homebrews.
No way.
even if they're only making kit beers or kit wines, they're going to be brewing something at home.
I'd say
5 in 100 people.
0.01% of the population.
No,
I reckon you probably have 1 in every 300 people.
You reckon?
I reckon something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody Google that shit and find the numbers.
We need to do we could do the Hop Edition census, can't we?
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I mean, if you look at America, there's a lot of people in America who brew.
Yeah, it's more
Australia,
popular.
there's a huge amount of people who brew. New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
Canada, there's a lot of people who brew in Canada.
Yeah.
You know, you see, Mark says he knows 300 people and none of them brew. I don't think that's a representative sample, Mark. I've got to be honest. There's no p-value on that. I think there's a lot more people brew than actually jump onto forums and whatnot. I think that's where we are. They're not visible. They're not visible brewers. I think that's the difference.
We will never know. But it was fun chatting about it anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, pulling up the numbers is always a laugh.
We were talking about Kvike, weren't we?
We were talking about Kvike. Thomas says Abergarden Full Spectrum, Voss, and Stallion are available as dried from the Kvike yeastery. All of them as dry. Is there a limit as to how many litres you can brew in England after which you have to pay tax? Theoretically, yes, but it depends on how quick you drink it, Steve. I can't remember the exact number, but I think off the top of my head, it is 200 litres per year.
What? Like home brewing?
I'm pretty sure there is a limit on the amount that you can homebrew. Yeah.
Really?
After which you have to pay tax.
No,
I'm telling you, there is. Google that shit. Come on, Mr. Google fucking foo. Get on with it. I'm guaranteeing you there is a number.
Google foo. All right.
There is a number.
I'll find it.
Tricky spent time with his missus as it's her birthday weekend and he's sneakily watching the pod and posting in the chat.
Oh, cheeky boy.
Oh,
don't get caught.
I think we need to grass him up. I think we need to grass him up to Ginny. I'm going to get the next beer out.
Yeah,
what was the next beer in the list? It wasn't the IPL, was it? It was the Pale Ale.
I don't mind either way.
We're going to do Parker next.
All right, let's do the Pale Ale. In Turkey, you can legally brew up to 350 litres for personal use.
Shit.
Here we go. Google. The United Kingdom, legal in unlimited quantity for domestic consumption only.
Really? It's legal in unlimited quantities?
Yeah, well,
that's a good job, really.
That's from Wikipedia. So,
which we all know is accurate as fuck.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if there was a limit, bread be fucked.
You'd be owing the tax man a serious amount.
Snitches get stitches. Oh, please.
Guys, is there a limit in the UK? I think there might be.
I just checked Wikipedia and there is no limit for domestic consumption.
Is it the Americans that have got a limit then, maybe?
I don't know. Let's have a
I
look.
think they might.
Wikipedia conveniently has Lots of countries listed. Here we go. Australia. It's legal for individuals to produce beer and wine for personal use. Doesn't say anything about the amount. It is illegal to distill alcohol, though.
That's a go.
What, in Australia?
Yeah.
Everybody
And here.
fucking distills in Australia.
Is it?
Well, apparently you need permission from the Australian Taxation Office.
Yeah.
Alright.
Everybody fucking stills in Oslo, don't they?
Wow, the colour.
In the Czech Republic, there is a limit of 200,000 litres per household
Yes!
per year.
200,000 litres.
That's amazing. That's like...
I'm sorry, more maths is needed at this
is that
point.
a year? No, but that's like... that. Do you know there's some commercial breweries that won't... You know, won't hit that.
Interestingly,
200,000.
That's a lot.
Germany
4.
is 200 litres of beer per household per year.
200?
Only 200.
That's rubbish.
Yeah. Hungary is 1,000.
I'd have that,
Iceland,
easy.
you can only legally brew your beer up to 2.25%.
Rubbish.
I discovered that it's very controlled in Iceland in terms of where you can buy alcohol. You can only buy alcohol above 2.25% from government-run off licenses. But I didn't realise it applied to homebrew as well.
Can I just say, what was the place where you've got 200,000 litres? Is that Czech Republic? Or was that...
Did I say 200,000?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
misread that. It was 2,000.
It's 2,000 litres.
Ah, right.
2,000 litres.
Right, hang on a second,
I
let me
got
just
a
clear
bit
that.
carried away.
That's still 100 batches.
That's 2.5 pints per person for a 4-person household every day.
Yeah, that's enough, isn't it?
It's more than enough, considering the 2-year-old and the 4-year-old kid that you've got aren't going to be
100 batches.
drinking.
So if it was just you,
you're not
it
hitting
would
that.
be 8 pints a day.
8 pints a night, yeah.
I think you'd be all right.
If you can't get by on that.
Look how milky that is. Right, so we're on this next beer for anyone that's listening. I take it you guys have announced that we're drinking this. Is it the Pale Ale?
We have now.
We're on
Parker.
Scepter.
Oh, fuck
What?
off.
You have me going. I was like, what?
We're on the milky.
So we've just cracked the double-barreled
I've never
Parker
drank it yet.
Pale Ale,
My
4.5%.
God, this is nice.
Very, very cool can art. Really like that.
Oh,
It's old school. It's old school with the new school soupiness. It's lovely.
So it's Cascade and Centennial hops on the hot side, meets bright, juicy citrus fruit notes from Citra on the dry hop. So yeah, it's kind of it's classic hot side, big Citra.
yeah, because I was
Cold
like,
side.
I was still getting that citrus sort of taste. On the nose, it's like tropical.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's the.
It's like umbongo, isn't it?
Oh, that smells good.
It's fucking dirty, this beer, man.
Oh.
Good. Love that.
Gilles has put his description in the chat already. It's up on the screen, boys.
Mr.
Soft.
Yeah.
Mr. Soft.
Mr. Soft.
It's got that sort of super milky look, doesn't it?
Look, it's even getting through to Mark's taste buds with his limited
This is
taste.
pretty awesome.
It's really nice.
It's
That's
not.
amazing.
There's none of that pine. I was expecting pine to be coming through with those hops.
I was
But-
expecting a lot of bitterness.
Bitterness, pine. I was expecting a West Coast, but no.
It's very
Jeez,
soft.
No,
isn't it?
no.
I'm
This is-
guessing they might have just used the hot side hops quite late. Maybe even just Whirlpool. They might have just Whirlpooled with Cascade and Centennial
That's a banger, is that?
because there's very, very little bitterness in that beer. probably just about enough to balance it.
Yeah, and this is like a whirlpool type beer, isn't it? With dry hop, it's kind of like the Sea Bomb, where it's not got that big punch of bitterness type thing.
Do you know the
Well
funniest
balanced.
thing? Right, there is a review of this beer which is currently on Unbarred, I presume, which is just another reason which sort of reinforces the fact that Unbarred is full of wankers with no taste. From a bloke called Billy B, who had this beer at a place called The Crown, and he's put shite and pricey. I'm sorry, Billy. You
Stick
need to
Callan,
fuck
mate.
off and drink Stella. That's what you need to do. You
No,
fucking
he's
talent.
probably, he says
Go on.
pricey. He says pricey, so I think he's more a Carlin drinker.
I think Billy needs to fuck off and learn about good beer. Stick to Carling, you taste budless fucking twat.
Oh fuck!
It's really nice.
It's hard to say that that's a bad beer. I think everyone would like that.
It's
Even
one of
low
those.
drinkers.
Apart from Billy.
It's apart from Billy.
Billy's the outlier. Everyone else in the UK would agree that tastes nice.
Yes. I think that is one of those beers that, whilst I couldn't drink many of them, right, that is not a session beer for me. That, because it would just overwhelm my taste buds. Everything would begin to taste like grapefruit, which is what I get from that.
Are you getting grapefruit?
I get a lot of grapefruit from that. I think that this would be one of those beers. It's one of those beers where I would happily have it in the fridge to just crack it open and have one and enjoy it.
Yeah. It's got that weeknight evening beer vibe in it.
It's a Tuesday night whilst you're watching Mastermind. That's what it is for me.
Maybe. I'm not so sure for me.
You don't watch Mastermind?
No.
Well, I watched that the other day, Tuesday night.
I don't have a TV license, so I don't
Well,
watch any.
I'll be honest with you, mate.
live.
I get most of the questions wrong anyway.
Yeah. Did you watch Tuesdays?
I did, but I fell asleep. So I didn't actually see the final.
Chris, what would your specialist subject be if you were Mastermind?
Amazing.
Methods of masturbation and not getting caught.
All right.
I was expecting something like chemistry or something like that, you know?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I could probably go pretty well on MASH, the TV series.
Really?
Yeah, I watched every episode of MASH, and I'm unashamedly going to put my hand up and say I cried like a fucking 2-year-old who'd skinned his knee at the last episode. I had tears running down my face. 8 series of awesome legendariness. And then that final episode where he rides off down the hill on the Indian. Fuck, dude, I'm welling up already. Don't do it. Great TV series.
Yeah, I'm not sure I ever really watched MASH. It was like an old army comedy from America, wasn't it?
Oh, it was great. It was great. It was comedy, but it was also really, really, really seriously kind of touching in certain points as well. The theme tune to it, "Suicide is Painless." Fucking hell, dude.
I love potato.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was awesome.
Andy, what would your Mastermind specialist subject be?
Oh, jeez. What would it be?
The scripture.
Maybe, no, I would, maybe
Psalms.
Motorbikes or...
Specifically,
what
Honda motorbike parts.
I would probably,
numbers.
Yeah. I'd probably fail massively. See if they did Bruin, I would just embarrass myself at Billy. I would get one out of the all the questions right, sort of thing. But yeah. I'm not. See, the problem is quizzes. I am absolutely garbage at. I don't have the memory to be able to recall this sort of thing. Whereas, like Sarah, my missus, she actually won Mastermind at her school. They had, is it Magnus? Was it the original?
Magnus Magnuson.
Magnuson came to her school. She was in a private school, so But she won like the mastermind when she was, I think she was in 5th year or something. And like Sarah, like I just do not get into arguments with her because she'll be right. Basically, she is my giggle sort of thing, you know.
Yeah,
So
that's what you want.
Chris, you're a bit like that. You've just got this amazing memory.
Yeah,
That once it goes in once, it's there forever sort of thing.
it depends on how many beers I've had, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Sarah's like that as well, and Matthew is now turning out like that as well, which is quite funny. But it's a great skill because if for an academic, you know, you just read things and it goes in, and then you can regurgitate it in an exam.
Hang on,
basically.
boys, calm down. Mark's missus has got hold of his phone.
She's a lady. She'll always be right.
Mark's missus is on. No swearing. No swearing.
But
Calm
genuinely, my missus is always right, and
Yeah.
you know, I'll argue with her about facts or something, and yeah, I'll check and I'm like, oh crap. I've got
Every
that wrong.
relationship always has somebody who thinks they're always right and somebody who always is.
So that's Sarah. So I could take
Yeah.
it, Chris. Is that you then?
Fucking hell, no. The missus will tell you I'm wrong all the time. To be fair, me and the wife don't argue that often. To be
That's
fair,
nice.
yeah, it's nice. Can we get back to this beer? Because the more I drink it, the more I like it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I can't fault
that
this beer.
That was a nice little mastermind tangent, though.
I honestly thought that Andy would have gone with MotoGP winners from 1999 and on.
Oh, Chris, that's a good one actually. MotoGP.
Or like
No, but it wouldn't be 19. No, because when did I start following? Like,
That's right. You were born in like 97, weren't you?
I was more 2002, like the start of the 4-stroke era onwards. But then even then, I wouldn't be able to bloody remember, you know, who won it in 2009 if it was Lorenzo or whatever.
I remember watching Wayne Rainey and Kevin Schwantz.
No, I thought I wasn't in
on
that era.
500cc 2-strokes around Watkins Glen.
There you go.
There we go.
Steak and kidney
Yeah, I
pie.
wasn't. I was
I like a steak and kidney
4-stroke
pie.
cows. Yeah,
No,
I
I've
love MotoGP.
I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a professional cyclist, and I actually knew more about winners of the Tour de France from 1993 to 1996 than he did, because it was the 3 years.
It's your memory.
No, it's because I literally sat and watched every fucking stage with my dad live on Eurosport, every single one.
And I went in and it just stayed there.
Well, I can remember the name Djamalin Abdul-Japarov, which most people won't fucking know, but he was this amazing sprinter with legs the size of my body.
Chris, have you ever thought actually genuinely applying for Mastermind?
No,
Because-
fuck that, mate. No.
I'm not sure they'd accept his specialist subject, to be honest, Andy. But
Oh my goodness.
Items which should be used for lubrication during masturbation. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
wanking in
wild.
strange places. Amazing, without getting caught.
Yeah, Djamalin Abdul-Japarov, Djamalin Abdul-Japarov, Djamalin Abdul-Japarov. There you go, 3 times.
In your face, Mark.
Yeah.
Be smart.
1999, Kenny Roberts, KRJR, mate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we've gone on a real tangent. We
Sorry,
were getting back to the
guys.
beer, weren't we? Come on,
Well,
let's
hey,
talk about
if you
this
like
lovely
beer, if you like beer, you probably like motorbikes. So
Yeah,
I
just
like
before
beer
we
and I
kill
don't
this
like
tangent,
motorbikes.
just before we kill this tangent, can I just say, go to YouTube, do a search if you can spell his name for Djamalin Abdul-Japarov,
oh, come on.
and watch the finish on the end of the stage after. It's 2 stages after the Alpe d'Huez, and I can't remember what it is, and it's 1993. The dude goes from like in the middle of the pack to a good 5 yards clear of everybody in the space of about 400 yards. And the frame on his bike, you can see it in the slow-mo. Like his frame's like this, and it's twisting with the amount of torque that he's putting through the crankset. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's because of beer.
That dude, I mean, I know Chris Hoy puts out some watts with his legs. He's got fuck all on that dude. He is brutal. Yeah, and then he retired, and he was
Anyway,
only about
motorbikes.
2'3". But anyway,
Brooksy's asked for, I think specifically, Andy, to say
Yes, Andy.
purple burglar alarm 3 times
Purple
in a row.
burglar alarm.
I don't even say it once.
Purple burglar alarm.
That is good.
Right, purple burglar alarm. Oh my goodness. No. Yes, well done, Dixie. Scots, can he say it?
Can't say it.
No. Purple
All burglar
burglar
alarms
alarm.
in Scotland are blue.
Burglar.
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 I think it's
Yeah.
just the word burglar that you guys struggle with.
It's
No, they
brutal.
struggle with purple as well.
There's a sketch, I'm sure Lemmy. There's a comedian, Scottish comedian, Lemmy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he does that, and he just can't even say it either.
It is brutal.
Have you ever watched thinking of Lemmy? Have you ever watched the sketch where they do the phone-in Dungeons and Dragons thing? If you just Google into YouTube, "Kill Jester," absolute comedy gold. That it's amazing.
Yes,
I'll be doing that after the show. To be fair,
it's very funny. Yeah, "Kill Jester."
Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Right, let's drag this one back to where we're supposed to be, guys.
Yeast.
No, fuck yeast. We're not doing yeast at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to quickly give our marks out of 10 for this beer. Everybody who's on the chat, think about this beer. Think about what you're drinking. Think about how you would rank it out of 10, and then give us a reason why. I personally am going to give this beer a very solid 8.2. And the reason for that is it's soft enough to be drinkable. It's not overly in your face with the harshness of the hops. And I genuinely think I would struggle to name a beer I have had in the last month which has had as much soft, smooth mouthfeel as this beer actually has.
I need to send you my C-bone.
Well, you know where I
well,
felt
so
we'd be happy to review it on the podcast.
I need to send you hops anyway, so I'm gonna.
You do.
Yep. So I'll chuck in the C-bomb and I'll probably chuck in the Hellas as well.
Good lad.
Right. Do that. I'll do that Monday.
I'm gonna give this beer a 7.8.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard for a beer in this category to be punching mega scores, but it is a beautifully crafted beer. It's well balanced. It hides its relatively low ABV really nicely. It carries so much hop flavour
rather than aroma.
There's a lot of flavour in it. Which is difficult to do in a 4.5% beer.
That's so true.
And it's super smooth.
It is so soft and smooth. That's the thing that's really weighing on me more than anything else. It's soft and smooth. I have just got a really weird whiff and flavour of those hedgerow fruits. I've just got an absolute blast of like blackcurrant. Very strange.
Yeah, not sure. I'm with you there, Chris.
I did just have a vape.
What flavour was the vape by chance?
Honeydew watermelon.
Yeah.
Okay, might have just been a weird combo between the two.
It's a lovely beer. It's a really nice beer. It's sitting very well.
Mark asked, "Do you reckon it was a high mash temp?" I think it probably was. I think it depends on how the house yeast performs.
It's probably saturated.
Dry, it tends to get. Well, they say a house yeast. I don't know if that's.
LA3.
They've been recycling for a while, and therefore they've now got kind of a.
I'm going to say probably not.
Yeast.
I'm going to say probably not because I've just read the ingredients in 4 languages, even though I can only read 1. And it says malted barley, wheat, and oats. So I'm going to say probably not a massively high mash temp.
I would have thought it's like a 67 or so, 68. Well, 67.
There you go. Hints of stone fruit. It says it in the description. I just got a weird fucking blast of blackcurrant.
Do you reckon this is a 1 or a 2 pant can?
I think it's a 2 panter, isn't it?
I don't know. It doesn't say, but I'll be guessing.
Ah.
I'll be guessing at £2.
I would say £2. It's lovely. It's a really nice.
It's a solid
It's the
£2.
It's the first time in about 18 months I've actually drank a beer that's had Cascade in it, and I've enjoyed it.
Really? Didn't you
Yeah.
use Cascade?
Because
in
this
your,
gets
Black
shitloads of
IPA?
Scepter.
Did you use? No, you used Centennial. Did
I
you?
use Centennial, mate. I haven't
Yeah.
drunk any of the Bipper yet. It's in the.
Chris, you know how you've been going on about how you don't like Citra, or you've not been a big Citra fan, and then
Citra dry hop in that. Yeah.
This is just this isn't. When we were talking earlier about being a Centennial beer, this is not a Centennial beer. This is like all about that Citra. Like,
I was really hoping. I was really hoping that it was going to have a lot less of the grapefruity flavor and a lot more of that kind of hedgerow. And
I was thinking pine. I was
and a bit of pine coming through, but I'm not disappointed in it. I'm not a huge Citra fan. I'll be honest. I'll put it out there. It's going to piss a lot of people off. I don't give a shit.
No, I don't think so. I think you can get tired
You
on
are
it. It's
dead
everywhere.
to me.
Yeah, whatever. I fucking love it. I think this is a great beer. 8
There you go,
point
Chris.
8
You need to get back into that Citra.
I think debate Cascade Centennial this day and age. Do you think it's maybe a little bit less piney?
I think it probably has been bred to be a little bit less piney. Pine is one of those flavors that divides people in beers.
Do you see
Mine
that?
didn't work. Oh, look at that.
That's weird. Wasn't even putting a thumbs
Why
up.
doesn't mine do that? No,
Because you guys don't have six.
totally mugged me off. We haven't got Macs. Maybe it's a Mac thing.
Yeah, it's a SPAC thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a nice beer though. It's a good beer.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's a great beer. Yeah, it's really good.
Move us on, Andy.
Right, no, just quickly, I just want to put my opinion because you guys have waxed lyrical. I'll be very quick. I think it's a wee bit flabby, but then there's something that's pulling it. It's not though, because at the end it is still pulling the juices out your mouth, and then it's making you want to go back in again. Yeah, so it's got that sort of soft sort of thing, but then the juices are pulling you back in to go, oh, I want another one. But yeah, like you say, Chris, I think it's a one can thing.
Yeah, it's a bit much for more than a can.
Yeah, so yeah,
I don't know. I reckon I could session that for an evening.
I'm struggling to finish that.
Really?
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. It's a hefty beer. That it's not a light session ale. That's a beer that I would have to really want to drink a lot of it to drink a lot of it.
I think there's quite a high carbonation on that beer.
Really?
What do you think?
I think it's reasonably high.
I think they sort of carbonate a little bit higher to sort of give it a bit more body.
Maybe.
They've given it a bit of a lift.
And it gives it a lift, but then I think you suffer on drinkability.
Right, okay.
I think maybe that's the reason why it's kind of a bit harder to drink.
I'm not getting super gassy on it though.
I am.
Right, okay.
I think it's one of those beers where... Now, to clarify, I think it's a beer I'd have to be in the mood to drink. Rather than it not being a sessionable beer, I think it's a beer I'd have to be in a mood to drink. I think that beer would work really well with barbecued food.
Because it's got the
It's got that
it can pull the
typically.
acids. Yeah, it does have the cutting thing with this.
It's got that cutting element, doesn't it? I think. All right, I'm going to revise my description. I think that beer would work really fucking well in the summer with a really hefty dose of a very strong Kansas City barbecue sauce.
Yeah, I think pork.
Bring on the summer. Yeah,
bring on the summer, boys.
Just ribs, barbecue ribs, man.
Pork, not beef.
Yeah, not beef. No
pork, not beef.
Yeah,
that's a fucking great summer beer. That is.
we need summer. Well, we need. Do you know what we need? We need our spring where we actually get our summer to come soon, so we can get that
I'm-
Kamado fired up.
I'm
Well, I
looking.
mean, it's
for
going to
fucking-
be cold to August where you are, Andy. So
No, we genuinely. I think April, May is when we get our summer.
about 4 degrees then, yeah.
20.
Go for a swim in the lock.
Oh, it's unreal. Seeing I come down south to London and you're just like, what is this walking about all day in a t-shirt?
Mm.
Oh, I don't need to wear a hoodie.
Thomas has got 83 feet of snow outside his door at the moment.
Oh, I bet he does.
He's living in an igloo.
Anyway, guys, we can sit here and we can wax lyrical about this and argue and talk shite all day.
Yeah.
But can we please jump in?
Yes.
What dried yeast have we used? What's been great? And what have we used which has been absolute shite? Because I can give a classic example of one that I've used recently, which has been absolute shite, and I'm pissed off that I even fucking used it.
Oh, go on then. That
Go
sounds
for
like
it.
gossip.
I like this.
I used for the first time in 4 fucking years Nottingham.
All right.
It would appear, have been spoiled.
Yes.
I have been treated to, poached eggs instead of fried. I have been treated to barbecue food instead of oven cooked. I have had proper Korean food rather than the shite that you get in a fucking pot in a ready meal. And then I went back to ready meal yeast. I brewed a batch of beer specifically for my friend Alan, who lives around the corner, and I fermented it out and I kegged it up and I had a sample before I took it round to him. So whilst it wasn't my specific beer, it was a beer that I'd brewed and I'd fermented and I had kegged up and taken round to my friend Alan. And it was brewed in Nottingham and it was fucking horrific. Who brews with that shit anymore?
Lacks flavour.
That's so interesting because I think was it Brulosophy, the Homebrew channel? I think they used Naughty recently, and it says they says it brought back memories of like really bad homebrew.
It was really bad. It was so bad. It was literally a brew, a ferment. As soon as it had finished, as soon as it hit final gravity, it was a cold crash. Get it into a keg and get it round to Alan's. He was having a party for his sons. It was his son's birthday. And my God, it was one of the worst fucking beers that I've tasted in a long time. It was his recipe. I just brewed it. Fucking hell. No, it was not nice. It was not nice. So I just want to say that Nottingham, whilst I'm sure it was amazing in the 70s, it doesn't fucking work. Not for me. Not at this moment.
Right. Brooksy in the comments is saying saturated and verdant sucks. Right. For a kicker, saturated does not suck. Saturated is absolutely banging. And yeah, I don't know where you're getting your bad batch of saturated from, Brooksy, but verdant's a funny one because it just flipping explodes out the fermenter is the problem.
It's so overly potent for what it is.
It's mental, is what it is.
It's overly potent for what you get out of it. It's one of those yeasts that just seems to. I mean, if you've ever seen the film Evolution with David Duchovny, right? It's one of those. It just fucking shoots out of the. It shoots out the fucking air.
Huge crowds, and it's pretty cool. It's like the beer I got from when I tried the verdant yeast was excellent. I must say it was a really, really good beer. But the Krausen's like you have to be prepped for the Krausen. Blow off. Yeah, if you're using that yeast, blow off tubes. Now, Chris, I don't know how much of a mess that makes on an all-rounder or a Apollo or whatever. Oh,
I'll unmute myself. It makes a massive fucking mess. It really does.
Yeah, I'd be worried it blocks my port like all my valves and stuff.
I have used a disconnect with a pipe leading to a bottle rather than using a spundy.
Yeah, I would not have the spundy on for a kicker.
Yeah, but the problem is without that pressure,
It goes even more.
It really does grow. So it's 6.5 and pick 'em, that one. Brooksy's clarified. He said saturated is good, but verdant sucks.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool.
I think verdant is massively overrated for what it is.
No, I think at the time
Let me
it was
explain. Let me explain.
At the time, it was the very first of the LA3 yeasts that was released.
I think it's one of those yeasts which is good situationally. I don't think it's a good all-rounder, and I think that's kind of what Brooks is trying to say. I may be misspeaking, Brooksy.
I don't know, Brooksy put in why you think.
I think verdant is one of those yeasts where, in the right situation with the right hops and the right fermentation profile, I think that it can work. But I think the size of the krausen that it produces, it's so sticky and so fucking huge. I think that is the problem.
It's like a Hefe yeast, isn't it, Chris?
It's way worse than any Hefe yeast I've used.
Well, the Omega Hefe yeast was, but the good thing, see, when you get a blowout with the Hefe yeast, you're treated to this banana flipping awesomeness.
Banana and bubble gum and all kinds of amazing aromas.
Bring it. Whereas, yeah. Whereas,
what would I use for LA3 and dry? Saturated.
Saturated, yeah.
Definitely saturated. Clipper is LA3 as well, isn't it? From CML.
Yeah, I've used that.
That's another option.
It's pretty good.
And that's just to go on about CML. So
can't complain.
Hell.
Yeah, Hell's good.
I
really like Diamond lager yeast from Lallemand.
That's a great yeast.
It's a very good yeast. You just get really good, super crispy boy performance out of it.
Brooksy, I've just posted a message from Brooksy. He says verdant is hugely overrated on the first use, but apparently it's better on the second or third time around.
I've also heard that, yeah.
But then who's got time for that?
Exactly. That would mean using the same yeast cake 3 times, and that's a bit of an issue.
And it also defies the point of a dried yeast.
Yes.
All right.
It does.
So, like, release it as a wet yeast, because then you're gonna put it in a starter.
Do they not do verdant as wet?
No.
It's only a dry yeast.
No, it's Lallemand. So Lallamand's a dry yeast company.
That's very strange.
Although no, I've used it on a few days. I think it could be a little bit temperamental, actually. And I don't know if that's a first gen's versus later gen thing.
It's weird.
I can't say I fell in love with it. I didn't think it was that great, but
oh wait there. Whose idea was it to have a yeast-focused podcast with Tricky off camera? Well, actually, that was all of us 3. Yeah. We actually wanted to be able to talk on one of the podcasts involving yeast.
Yeah, Tricky was I don't know. I don't know.
He's too busy getting his end away.
I got some agreement from Gilles on the Diamond.
It's a great yeast.
It's a great yeast. Love that.
Nice.
I had some issues with Diamond previously, with diacetyl and with just generally being quite slow. But after talking to a few people with Diamond, what I found is pitching 2 packs, and weirdly for yeast, because I do not recommend this in any way, rehydrating it in a bit of sugar. So pitching it into I use a 500 ml glass measuring jug, and I pitch into that with about 100 mils of water and a little bit of sugar in it.
You do that?
Get it to the point where it's active before you pitch it, and I never had any of the issues with Diamond the second time round.
What do you call that? Like a vitality
starter? Yeah.
No, literally about an hour before you due to brew.
That's it, a vitality.
Yeah.
It's vitality start.
Yeah, it was fucking superb. It was really good the second time I used it. I had some issues with just being a fucking lazy yeast. You know what I mean? It was just one of those. It's like West Sussex. Just a fucking lazy yeast.
Is that the
Just
Yeah.
fucking
hardest?
lazy.
I hear you. I hear you.
So-
Have you guys used Mangrove Jacks much? What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
their
I think
use?
so. Yeah, I think I have in the past, early days of homebrewing, where I've picked up mangroves, and it worked, you know. But yeah,
They're-
I actually think it's a really reliable dried yeast source. I think maybe they get a little
it is
bit
or
bait.
isn't. Sorry.
It is, yeah. I think
All
it
right.
is. Every time I've used them, I've had absolutely zero complaints.
You know on what the background to mangroves is?
No idea.
It's Bevy Group, who are grandfather and
Oh,
yeah.
import
So,
everything. Yeah.
so yeah, mangroves is part of the Bevy Group, which is
and
cool.
they do a good range, a really good range. And kind of really covering a lot of stuff. Like they've got a lot of Belgian yeasts, and I did use that hophead that
Tricky gave me
sent
that.
to us. Yeah,
56.
Yeah, that was super bitter though.
66.
It came out.
Yeah,
It came out really like it accentuated hop bitterness. So
Sorry, Brett. MG84 Bohemian Lager. Yes, I've used it many times. It's fucking brilliant. It's a really, really good yeast, that one. Really, really nice. Anyway, you guys carry on talking. I'm going for a piss. I've poured my next beer, just to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. It's the US West Coast yeast, pretty much Chico. Do you think M44?
M44 is a good one. I think it is, but it's obviously a twist on it, sort of thing, as they all have. Yeah, but
So it's got some
M44's
nuances.
I think what I used to get was I would order US05 back in the
Yeah.
day, and then it would get substituted with M44, and then it still made a bloody amazing beer sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they've also got, I'm sure they've got one that's like, is it for like dark, strong beers? What's it called?
That's their I saw it a second ago. New World,
New World.
Age, High
Yeah.
Gravity Yeast or something.
So they've got that as well for your kind of stronger, like stouts and stuff like that, don't they?
They do, yeah. Sort of your bigger
Mhm.
beers. New World Strong Ale M42.
Yeah, I've used that.
They got Californian Lager, which I think is probably a sort of steam lager.
Oh, I might have used that.
That sort of Kolsch type strain. They've got a couple of Saison
Steam ale.
yeasts, which actually there's not that many Saison yeasts
I think,
in dried form. They got French Saison and they got Bels. No, that's
yeah, Bell Saison. Yeah, that is that Lallemand, the Bell Saison one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've used that.
That's a pretty classic Belgian Saison yeast. Quite.
If you like phenolics.
I think the French Saison is a bit pepperier. Pepperier.
Pepe?
Pepperier.
Yeah, why not?
Try saying that, Andy.
Yeah, peppery. No issues.
That must be a southern thing.
Okay,
say it 3 times on.
I just want to jump in on the
say it
chat
once.
right now. Can I just jump in on the chat for a second? Because I've got Gilles who said, when would you use Bry 97 instead of USO5?
You wouldn't, unless you got substituted. It gets substituted because they didn't have USO5. That's what
And
happens.
then Brooks has come back with Bry 97 is awful in comparison. Now, here's the weird thing, right? I'm literally, Brett just fucking beat me to it. The bald-headed short bastard.
There
right?
it is. Yes.
He's gone in.
It is.
Bry 97
Drops.
drops clearer, faster than USO5. And I found in beers with less of a dry hop, Bry 97 has actually produced a cleaner tasting beer than
Quicker.
USO 5.
Because USO 5 is always, you have to give it time, because otherwise you get this sort of it's not dusty, it's like a kind of like powdery, that's the word. It gives this sort of powdery sort of thing. But when you leave USO 5, you get this lovely peach from USO 5 that I find. But you just need to give it time, that's all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'd like to see done? You know, Lance did his haze positive tests. I would love to see him do a haze, the hazy gene test on Bry 97 and USO 5.
Both you saw that. Chris, maybe you'll need to do that one.
I can't do it. Fucking hell, I do not have the kit to be able to do that.
Just get a
I
couple of
personally think that Bry 97, like Brooksy said, it's laggy and ends up hazier. I would honestly say that I personally think Bry 97
Boom.
in Go West
Okay.
just bringing it clear as a bowl. Yeah. But I would honestly say that I think Bry 97 has more expression of the hazy gene than USO 5 has. And that's just me personally.
Just for our listeners on the podcast, the audio, Tricky just says Brian 87 and Go West that just bagged the silver medal, and it was clear as a bell. There you go.
Yeah, that's what 3 tons of gelatin does for you, though, isn't it, Tricky?
Tricky's not.
I know he doesn't. I'm winding him up. Fucking hell,
knows.
cut me some slack.
That was
Tricky, don't worry, I've got you, mate. Got you.
Scottish Nationals. Tricky picked up
Second, yeah.
second place at the Scottish Nationals.
Yeah, it
Congrats.
was amazing.
Congrats to everyone else. that
Yeah,
was
Brett.
placed.
Yeah.
I think
Brett picked up.
and Chris Ibbotson as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
both.
silver as well.
Yeah, there's a few
Yeah.
boys. I didn't even enter it. Now I watched it live just to see all the boys, see what they pick up. So it was
Yeah,
good. Well done.
The thing is, though, Brooks has just told me that the gold medal is USO 5.
Fair dues.
I personally, I like Bry 97 as a yeast. I think it's one of those yeasts that's very situational in its use. But I think genuinely it is a good yeast. And I have found that, you know, it does have its uses.
All right,
You know?
right. Question for you. We're gonna go desert island dried yeast.
Ooh, you can't do that to me right now. I haven't even had time to think.
Oh no!
If you can only have one yeast
No.
and it has to be dried for the rest of your life, what are you having?
Oh, fucking hell, dude.
Fuck.
Can
That's
we
a
do
toughie,
can we do the review on Scepter?
I'll give you some time to think about.
Give
that
us some
one.
time on this. This is I'm gonna be all fucked up now. You've asked me to think.
Because there's problems here, right? For me, I've been on a journey of USO 5, which is great all rounder, but then I've saturated and it's just been wow, what some beers. But then I've been on a whole lager sort of turn, and
That's a good one. The hell.
I've been using the hell, and I'm super. I cannot try this hopping pills because that's like a bock sort of yeast, like the
820 is the Melton yeast. It is not a bock.
Yeah, because the 830 is the bock, isn't 820 is the Melton, but it's the residual sugars that gives flavour.
Exactly.
Sweetness.
Exactly.
And
you can't spring that one on us. Fucking hell, Owen.
This is why, I want to try this hopping pills.
You're a horrible, horrible man.
Hell's will be a 10008 type yeast. 10089 sort of dependent, but
fuck. And look, just get this fucking beer in your glass, okay? We're talking with Scepters right now.
Do you go back to USO 5 because it's
we
the all-rounder, or do you go specialist and just say, I'm just going to brew lagers from now on?
Right.
We'll pick back up, Andy. Hold that.
We're gonna circle back round because I know Owen loves his bullshit. Owen loves his business bullshit. Right.
Yeah, just throw the wall and see what sticks.
So we've got Lost and Grounded running with Scepters and India Pale Lager. Owen, go.
Lost and Grounded. I drank their Keller pills earlier. What
Great
an
beer.
absolute banger that is.
Yeah,
and
great beer.
I feel like I need to drink more Lost and Grounded. They are a brewery that have been around for a while. I think they do some fantastic lager. This is their India Pale Lager. Running with Scepter's pretty cool can art. There's a whole bunch of animals climbing a hill holding scepters. Bit odd, but fine. No info regarding the beer. Oh, tell a lie. It's quite small. Lager's answers to IPA. Biscuity base. With Pilsner
Buttery
Vienna malt
biscuit
with
base.
a touch of buttery biscuit base. A touch of light crystal malt and dry hopped, peachy and piney. This is a modern lager at its best.
Sulfur.
Fucking
So I think it's
beautiful.
leaning more sort of to the classic lager style
You smell the sulfur.
than an incredibly hoppy interpretation of IPL. So it's kind of, it's probably more a dry hopped,
I think I've got a Czech pour.
sort of new world hop dry hopped kind of lager. So it's a little bit hazy.
Do you guys like my Czech pour?
It's very
It's
nice.
a good one, man. Well done. Well played.
I mean, on the nose, you do get a lot of hop aroma.
I get sulfur, the lager,
There is a touch of sulfur in there for sure,
which is like, yes. Love it.
intertwined with
No, I'm
what
getting
smells like a really nice, sweet, slightly marshmallowy. Don't know where that's
Marshmallow.
coming from. That was an impression.
For those of you who are on Discord, Brett has just uploaded a picture of his paw of the Lost and Grounded, and he's got a wonderful Czech paw on his.
It was quite feisty. I poured half of it earlier, and it was very fizzy.
Is it safe to say this beer is not fucking around on the head retention?
It's
Nah,
cool.
well,
Mine's not great.
mine's
Look,
it's going off.
Mine's
I've
calmed
been tried
down.
mine yet.
But it's pretty well carbonated. I'd say, like, from a grist's perspective, it's relatively clean, pretty middle of the road. It's not getting too out of line on the grist front, despite the fact that they've used lager malt, Vienna, and a light crystal malt.
It's got that nice grainy sort of lager texture.
Yeah, it's got a nice backbone to it, but it's not really about the malt. It's really more about the hops. But it's kind of more kind of old schooly hop character to it, with just a little touch of new school. It's very nice.
See,
I'm enjoying that. Very
I get-
drinkable.
I get smacks of sulfur with
Okay.
that. On you go.
No, you crack on.
I'm just getting that sort of sweet sulfur and sweet sort of hop. Is it strawberry sort of, that sort of strawberry hop thing? You know how like Tricky sent us the hop tasters in the past, and it's had that sort of strawberry.
I'm not sure I'm getting
Strawberry
much
fruit.
strawberry, but
I'm getting loads of fucking strawberry now. Andy said it.
Mm-hmm.
that's just
almost-
leading you.
It's
leading the
almost
jury.
raspberry, strawberry raspberry kind of edge.
That's maybe
might be
where
the
I
lager
got
malt.
that whole kind of marshmallow impression, was that kind of, I don't know, sweetness combined with like a little bit of fruity.
Mm-hmm. I get fruits.
I'm getting fucking so much. Like literally now, Andy said strawberry. I just smelt it and I went strawberry. Yep, he's right. Fucking hell. Like this is one we need. Red lights, opaque cups, and fucking blindfolds. That's what we need.
Mm.
Yeah, raspberries, Brett. Totally raspberries.
Oh,
On the nose, I get nothing but sulfur. Right?
yeah, yes.
It's
Well,
dirty fucking sulfur. That's all it is.
yeah.
And then on the flavour,
Stay on.
Robinson strawberry mix squash. That's what it is. It's fucking fruit. They've got to have used most in this.
Yeah.
They've got to have.
And it would make sense.
Right. Let's open this one up to the collective. There's 15 people listening to this podcast right now. If you have had another hop that has given you elements of strawberry or raspberry, tell us about it right now, because the only one I've ever had that's done that has been Most.
Isn't one of the new HBC from Yakima Chief supposed to have like loads of strawberry and raspberry?
Which one is
vibes? I remember.
We need Robbie on fucking speed dial, don't we?
Robbie telling us about it.
It wasn't.
And it was right before it came out.
It's not that one, is it? The 586? Because that was like
it was 586. I think it was that one.
That was like, it was like I don't know if it was like mango dank juice fruits or something that was on the 586. That one that we tried. The can of, but
if it's the new hop and it's giving raspberry like this, I want somebody to brew that. Belma.
Oh, there you go.
Belma does give you a good strawberry honeydew melon thing.
If somebody is brewing this beer, they need to fuck the lager yeast off and brew it with saturated.
So Lost and Grounded on the website says it's peachy and piney.
Yeah. Peachy. Yeah.
I can't make head nor tail of that beer, and I'll be honest, I don't know if I like it or not.
The HBC hop was 638. 638.
I can't decide if I like this or not.
Which is
I love it.
Aromas of cherry, banana, mango, pineapple, strawberry, and cantaloupe. What's not
cantaloupe
by that?
Melon? I don't know. This is a real fucking mixed bag for me, this one. And I was really wanting to enjoy it because...
No, that's great.
There's a picture of a tortoise carrying a sword on the front. Or a scepter, anyway.
It's a scepter.
I can't tell you.
I love the sulfur. Like, I am... Oh, Chris, like, lager.
Do you know some...
And then I'm getting... Yeah, sorry.
Right. Brett is one of my favorite people in the world because with Brett, you don't get any bullshit. Okay. Brett is straight talking. That's why I love Brett. He's short. He looks like a bollard, but he's straight talking. And as soon as he put up there, do you know what? It's his least favorite of the three beers. I had to agree with him.
No.
Because I'm confused about this beer.
Really?
Any beer that puts me in a state of confusion is one of those beers where I have to think about it too much. And when I think about it too much, I don't enjoy it.
Loving this.
It's a weird beer because there's so much sulfur on the nose.
Which is awesome.
But it's really strong.
I'm not getting that strong a sulfur note off it.
I'm getting loads of sulfur off of this.
It's a weird
as soon as you drink it,
it's
strawberry raspberry. It's strawberry raspberry.
I think that the aroma is kind of like a weird combination of like the hops and sulfur.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you try and see past the sulfur and into hop aroma territory.
Yeah, I get that straw. It's like straws and berry. That's where I got the strawberry from. Was the nose?
Yeah. It's like, weird. It's
you
weird.
Wonder if the sulfur kind of just plays with the aroma.
Yeah.
In a kind of really weird way. I think it's quite complex. I think it's multifaceted. I think there's a lot.
I find
in Tricky's words, there's a lot going on there.
There is a lot going on there.
But it's very gentle. It's not like punchy. But then it's got there is a nice kind of what would you say IBU 30, 28, 30 sort of?
Yeah, around about the 25 to 30 range.
Yeah, because it's not overly sweet or anything. Because if it was a 20 IBU, you would get a hell of a lot more sweetness. But
I get so much fruit on the tongue.
Yeah, but it's 5.2. Yes.
Hang on. sorry, Gilles, can't get past that tang. It's almost balsamic.
Oh,
Weird. I'm not really getting that.
Well, we seem to have left
Wow.
the most divisive beer till the end.
It's
I'd like to say this was by design, but it really fucking wasn't.
Jules, I get what you're saying with the balsamic thing, because it twists your tongue
Yeah, big
at
time.
the end.
It's a
I like
confusing
that.
beer. It's a confusing beer.
Yeah, it's a little bit. You could say confusing. You could say complex. You could say. I think. Do you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of a beer from Duration.
Which one would it be?
Not which one. Just sort of. It's similar in style in terms of a predominant lager-esque backbone. It's complex. It's a little bit
Twist on
off kilter.
I love
you know what I
Duration
mean?
for
It's got a little bit of a, I don't want to say farmhouse, but
totally
There's elements of it, yeah.
yeah, kind of. It's got that.
the straw thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Straw. Yeah. It's a very... Guys, if you haven't bought these beers, okay, and you're wondering what the hell we're talking about,
Go get the three of them.
I know for a
the
fact
glass.
that the malt millers still have it, and you'll get a fucking cool tankard glass with it, okay?
Yeah, it's a cracking deal.
It is one of those... These three beers, the first one that we had was just... It was crystal clear. It was straight down the line. It was really easy to like. It was very easy drinking. The second one introduced an element of that 19 sort of the early 2010 2011 kind of that real complex American sea hops kind of thing. This one is straight 2024. All right, this is a level of fucking weird that even I'm struggling to decipher.
So this is interesting, because the way my taste is starting to go is like, I love that sort of the like funky sort of breaded sour type, and the like Duration was all very much that sort of wild sort of thing. And Brooksy, right? Brooksy says Duration do suck though, and I'm like, no.
I think Brooksby is massively wrong on that.
I think it's is it Marmite? Is it like you either love it or hate it? But
Maybe.
oh, like Duration, I was like, it's like Fine Ales where they had the Origins thing. Like I was like, well, here you've got Fine Ales with Origins, and then I'm like, here's Duration with their incredible beers. And I think it's maybe that's where it's maybe a devising factor. Like where it's putting people off, maybe, or I just love that complex thing.
Yeah, I think Duration beers, and a little bit like this, is kind of like perceived as being a little bit rough around the edges. You know, kind of like it's not clear, it's not perfectly clear, it's not got a really simple,
I was impressed
in your
with
face kind
all
of
their beers,
thing.
like...
It's there's something that's a little bit
off kilter type, but that's what stands out.
complex is the only thing I can kind of talk to, really. It's a thinking man's beer.
Yeah, and Brooksy, you're not a thinking man. No, it's everyone has their own. That's the cool thing. Everyone has their own flavors and tastes and what they like and don't like. And because of craft, you've got that selection now. Whereas before, you just didn't. Like it was like you either like macro lagers or you're pretty screwed and you're a bit weird and you like Bombardier or something. And you have to go and find that somewhere. You know, very very hard. Whereas now the way it's been opened is like we're exploring all different types of beers, like barrel aged flipping impy stouts in the last one.
Do you know what would be really interesting for me, right? Is if people were to go back through the episodes that we've done since, say, I don't know, go from about episode 20 onwards and tell us how many different breweries we have had, the beers that we have drunk, either on the commercials that we've had on or that we've done on these new listener-guided commercial episodes, okay? For me, I think... Why is it that I'm thinking these things and people are fucking typing the shit into the chat? New beers are great, but sometimes we lose sight of the classics.
Ooh.
Sometimes the bottom line is ripped jeans were big when I was a kid.
Are you leading us into the next pod, Chris, here or something?
I'm not a fucking kid anymore. But I see kids where I'm working at the moment walking around wearing ripped jeans, and it's like Duran Duran did that in 1988.
We had ripped jeans.
Do you know? Yeah, exactly. That's my point. That's my point. Okay, it all comes down to everything in life is cyclic. Things that were old come back to being new.
Big tashes.
Yep, the old fucking
Pod
dirty
tash.
Sanchez. That's what it is. I think craft beer has become cyclic in that we are now appreciating the things that are old because we aren't quite taking up the things that are new. Or maybe we're hearkening back to those days because of everything that we're being exposed to that is new. It's just, this beer is confusing as fuck. I'm sitting here desperately trying to think about what dried yeast I want to use forever, but also, what do I actually think of this beer?
Oh shit!
It's a hard one, isn't it? I think this beer has caused us to become deeply philosophical.
Do you know something? I love Mark Collywell because he's just written that.
Yeah.
Progression for the sake of progression isn't progression. Holy shit, we could end the podcast there.
Nice.
Deep.
But it's true. It's true. Right. We've all had enough time. Everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat, I don't want to hear anything else from you. Just write down in a message, just this, the name of the dried yeast that you would use forever. Go. Andy, what's the dried yeast you would use forever?
Sanders, fuck it.
Okay. Owen.
I don't know. I'd probably say like LA3.
Okay.
So many styles you can make with that yeast.
Right.
I'm going to go with a lager though.
I'm going with Voss.
I was kind of thinking like, do I go for Kvike?
No. Change my. Do you go 3470? Oh, US.
Do you know why I wouldn't go
3470?
Because I missed the tangerine flavour.
No, I wouldn't go Sanders. Would I go saturated?
I might go Lutra.
Lutra's a good shout.
That's got to be pretty flexible, and that you can make a lager, you can make an ale, you can.
Oh, what the fuck,
Thomas, give us a message, bruv. Right, so we've got Harmon Brewing going 3470, a bold choice. A bold choice. Mark Collyfish has gone Voss because he could brew everything in a week. Gilles has gone Voss because he could make Tricky's favourite pseudo lagers. Brewcat, Brooksy. I did give you some shit at the start of the podcast, Brooksy, but I hope you don't take it personally. Has gone USO5, right? Yeah. Which, to be fair, I can't argue with any one of those choices.
Yeah. They're all good choices. I think USO5 pretty flexible if you change the temp. Voss, you can make almost any style with that.
No, you can't, because everyone's just going to taste of orange.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you like the orange flavour, is that a bad thing?
Yes, because then you want a clean beer, and then you're like, I can't get a clean beer.
So ferment it at 20.
Yeah.
If you want orange, 20. You just add orange extract.
Or if you're using Voss, you ferment it at 36.
It depends on like your conditions, but I'm like, do you just go 3470 like a hell type yeast, and then you can do whatever, but it's so slow. Maybe USO5 is the way to go because it just does.
I'm going to expand the parameters of the discussion.
Oh my God, here we
If
go.
you could have 2 yeasts,
Oh, that's easier. Right, okay.
Fucking easy.
what
Yeah.
would you have?
820
What was the first one?
Voss and
Voss.
820.
All right.
And it would be
All right.
saturated in like hell.
I
First
would
of
go Evergarden
Wait, hang on.
Diamond.
You said dried yeast, and I've just said 820, which is a wet yeast.
Well, you can go hopping pills.
I'll go Hopping Pills, and I will go Voss. Both of which are available from our sponsors, the Malt Miller.
What do you reckon Tricky would go for?
Tricky. I reckon he'd go with
Nottingham and Windsor.
SO4.
Nottingham and Windsor. Yes, we'll just put those on Tricky. Tricky's choices are Nottingham and Windsor.
See, the only reason why I wouldn't say hopping pills is because I haven't tried it yet, Chris. But it could be the future.
Brooksy has gone Lutra and US05, and I can't fault him for that in any way, shape, or form.
Brooksy, US05, well done, sticking to that.
Harmon Brewing has gone 3470 and saturated, and again,
That's
I
a solid choice.
I cannot argue with that.
That's a solid choice.
Similar type.
I don't think there's many stars you couldn't make. I reckon you can make 80% of beer stars with those 2 yeasts.
Yeah.
If you want it clear, 3470. If you want it hazy, saturated.
Yeah.
Well, we're sulfur.
Right. Guys, we've had Running with Scepters in our glass for about 15 minutes now.
I love that.
And we need to give this a rating out of 10.
Let's do it. Quick fire.
Everybody in the chat who's drinking Running with Scepters right now, that includes you, Gilles, and Mark, and Brett. I want a score out of 10 for Running with Scepters from Lost and Grounded, which has been the most divisive beer we've had on tonight.
5.8. What the?
Yeah,
5.2.
I'm giving mine about a 6. I'm with you, about 6.2. It's all right.
Jeez, I'm an 8.5.
Wow.
Like,
Nah,
Christ.
it's not up there for me. It's I don't want to say it's a boring beer, but it's not really. It's complex, but it's not like it's not drawing me in. I'm not going to be like, oh, I desperately want to try that beer again.
It's not the Bourgeon, is it?
As Brett said, didn't blow up my dress.
But Brett, you're the only person in the chat who's currently wearing a dress, mate.
Princess Leia.
We're not judging you, but your Princess Leia dress. Andy, what's your 8.5?
8.5? Yeah, I love how like it just messes with you. It gives you that sulfur hit, then you're getting straw, and then you're getting like this sort of crazy juice sort of thing, and it just twists. And like you say, the balsamic twist was like how balsamic will give you that sort of twist. I love that.
Owen, what did you give it?
I gave it a 6.2.
Do you know the weird thing, right, is part of me...
I'm not into saisons, no.
Part of me wants to give this beer like an 8, because complexity and confusion, it's an interesting beer that's drawing me in. But I can't get over just the sheer amount of sulfur that I'm getting from a beer that tastes of raspberries and strawberries. And I think I'm going to have to probably drop this beer down to a 6. In fact, yeah, I'm going with 6. Because the beer itself is overly complex for what it's supposed to be as an IPL, which is a hopped lager, for want of a better term.
But it's more than that.
It's not.
But is it?
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be just a crisp, clean lager with a nice, clear. dry hop.
I can't make head nor tail of this beer, and it's been running around my head for fucking 20 minutes now. I can't make head nor tail of it. I can't decide whether I really like it or not.
Can I address
I've
Gilles's
got a
comment?
lot.
Yeah, go for it.
Quite a bit of
So Jill-
sediment.
So
bottom
Jill
line,
says,
so-
Andy, but then you're not into saisons, right? And the reason I'm not into saisons is because saisons is every classic off flavor to me on a beer. So like peppery, phenolic, right? It's like when my beers went effed, and when I get a saison, I just go, "Oh my goodness, this tastes like something's went wrong with my beer," and that's I think why I just do not like saisons.
Fair dues.
I can't turn around and say this is a bad beer because I don't think it is. I think this is a case of
Beautiful. What?
I think that this genuinely is a case of a great beer that I just don't like.
How can you guys not like this beer?
Well, it's not like I don't like it. I'm just not. I'm not like mega rating it.
It's
I
a
think
Larlis Morissette.
A 6 out of 10.
I think you
Is-
guys are drinking a different can to me.
I think this beer is a Larlis Morissette. She may have had a platinum selling album, but a lot of people didn't fucking like it.
Are you getting a lot of like hop juice on the finish?
I'm getting a lot of sulfur, and I'm finding it difficult to get past it.
Not really. I wouldn't describe this beer as juicy. I'd describe this beer as
Bitter.
mildly hoppy,
No.
borderline tiny bit boring.
It's a weird beer. Weird beer.
I think there's a can difference here.
Not something. I wouldn't be going for a second pint. Let's put it that way.
I'll agree with you on that one, Owen. I wouldn't go for a second pint either.
I could drink that all night.
I'm almost getting a raisin element to that beer right at the end when it had warmed up.
Yeah, I mean that might be that kind of bit of crystal in there. A little bit of Vienna
It's
crystal.
a little bit of raisin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those beers, you know, we've
Beautiful.
chosen 3 based upon breweries that our listeners have recommended to us. We've drunk them all. And the one which, honestly, I was expecting to be phenomenal has turned out to be the most divisive.
Oh yeah, because you're a total IPL man.
Yeah, you love an IPL, don't you?
I do love an IPL.
I think
But it turns out you don't actually IPLs. You like fucking pale ales. You're like, I don't like sulfur.
Out of the 3, which one's the winner for you?
I'm a total sulfur man.
Fucking hell, the bitter by a mile.
Really? I'm going Parker.
Even though I rated it lower than Parker, the bitter is the winner for me because I know full well I could do serious damage to about 12 cans of that.
So, Chris, you're going bitter. I'm going the pale ale, and Andy's going the IPL.
Yeah.
So, horses
That's
for
funny.
courses, I think, is the conclusion there, isn't it?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, interesting.
I think we've just proved that craft beer's got a future. Because we chose 3 cans, there's 3 of us, and all 3 of us chose a different beer.
That's funny though, isn't it?
But it's the way that the world is. Parker exceeded expectations. There you go.
Parker was what I was not expecting. I was expecting Parker to be a West Coast piney grapefruit thing with a bit of caramel, and it turned out it was a hazy IPA
It was just
or a hazy pale.
Your super soft hazy pale
It
ale.
was a super soft Citra pale, and like yes, I like that.
That's exactly what I was expecting from Double Barreled, and it delivered, and it was great, and I enjoyed it.
Before we hang this one up, we do have one final point to cover on the whole dried yeast thing.
Okay.
And it's got your name on it, Owen.
Oh, right. We are going to reflect on what yeast have you
What do we want to try?
not tried, but you really want to try?
Hopping pills.
Cotton pills. An après ski. I want to try that. I've got Chris. Yeah, got that. Want to try those two? And it's lager. It's the year of the lager, 2024.
Mate, it's been a year of the lager for the last 2 years for me. I genuinely think that there are so many dried yeast coming out. And just to clarify, there was a section, are we aware of any new yeast coming out anytime soon? I need to keep quiet. That's all I'm going to say.
You actually know a yeast that's coming out, Chris?
I need to shut the fuck up.
I think there are some exciting yeasts coming out, but I don't think Steffer would be happy about us talking about it. So we'll keep our mouth shut.
I'm going to shut the fuck up.
But
all I'm going to say is,
I don't know about this.
All I'm going to say is, our sponsor, the Malt Miller,
are on it.
Keep an eye on it because those boys are way ahead of the curve. Yeah. They had Ground Effect Aero in 1997. That's all I'm saying. Okay. For anybody who's an F1 fan, they'll understand that one. What about this range that's currently available to homebrewers now for the dried yeast? Do we really need to buy wet yeast anymore?
Unless you're doing something niche. Unless I think if you're going more into the territory of niche styles, like into more the mixed type territory, then you're probably going to go wet yeast. Unless you want some really niche German yeast lager.
Did you guys spot that I bought a barrel?
No. You bought a barrel. You've gone to the dark side.
I am going. I want, because it is like, what beers that I love that are crazy, and it's the wild stuff with the Brett and lacto.
And the saisons, yeah.
No, the saisons. No,
the wild saisons.
The goat stuff. The goaty stuff is like, that is it, and it's not. Do you know what? It's the oak character you get from the barrels. It's when you taste that oak.
Yeah, and the combo of Brett and oak is
Brett and oak is just like,
it's like, especially if you get a nice vanilla oak flavor combined with the Brett yeast character. It's
bourbon
something
barrel
special. That is something special.
So that's what I want to get. Like you say, but I've been on the Malt Miller, and the Malt Miller's got some crazy selection of like mixed cultures and stuff like that. So that's where my order will be going once. Like whatever I'm going to do, a Solera project or whatever, have that barrel, and then it's a 30-litre barrel I've went for. So the idea is you fill it up with 30 litres, and then you keep a 10-litre behind, and then top it up with a fresh once you've taken a keg out of it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I thought Solera was an ice cream.
Solera's like it's a roll. You always have something in it, sort of thing, and you top it up.
It's like a blending process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of Flanders Red beers.
Oh yeah.
Did you test the Bouillon?
Difficult. I love that beer, but that's quite.
It's just
I would say a weird example of the style. But incredibly difficult to brew because it's generally blended, much like any of those styles in terms of lambics and that kind of thing tend to be blended. So it tends to be multi-year beers that you're drinking. But if you were to do a Solera, then you get the same potential opportunity to do that because you might put it in a barrel for a year, drain off X amount, fill it back up with a younger beer.
Yep.
Do that for 4 or 5 years, then you might end up with a barrel of absolutely amazing.
And it's
whatever.
What it does, and do you know what? There's very little YouTube content on this, and I'm like, oh, there's a gap. But there is like 1 or 2 people that have done it, right? And when you watch their videos, they're like, "This is the best beer I've ever brewed." Yeah. And it's like,
but it's a barrel age, and it's kind of like, you saw the Scottish National recently. The best in show was a barrel aged barley wine or something.
There's something
barrel aging is like there's a bit of a kind of I don't know what's the term I'm looking for.
Oh,
Like a
it's
bit of a mecca for home brewers. It's kind of like if you
yeah,
can barrel age something, it's like ooh, barrel
fucking dreaming
aged.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's true of craft beer as well, isn't it? You know, a barrel aged impy more often than not will be better than a non-barrel aged impy.
yeah, it's
No,
just that
I
oak
totally
flavour.
get that. I totally
Right.
get that. I personally, I'm not a big fan of mixed firm. I'm not a big fan of anything that tastes like it's been filtered through a goat trough. And I think that's one of those, you need to have a more cultured palate in order to be able to enjoy those. I don't have a cultured palate. I'm a very simple man, as you may have noticed. But honestly, I have nothing but respect for people who want to go down that route. I know Lukey Stevens is doing one at the moment. Andy's got himself a barrel. Brooksy's doing a mixed firm. I know Brett's done some mixed firm in the past. Those are just people I know off the top of my head. But there is a gentleman who listens to our podcast who's a good friend of mine, Simon Seaton, who wants to produce a Flanders Red.
Hmm.
Do you have much experience in producing Flanders Reds, Owen?
I've made one.
Would you be willing to give him some pointers?
As much as I could, I guess.
Because Simon is wanting to go down that route. And to be fair, if anybody has any information about Flanders Reds and wishes to help out a fellow brewer, Simon Seaton, good friend of the podcast, good friend of mine, he sorted us out with some really good guests. Honestly, if you've got any information, please help him out. Now, for me personally, I think that what do I really want to try is the next question on the notes. I want to try Hopping Pills. I want to try Afri Ski. I want to try Einstein because, I love a good lager. And if Einstein is as good as people say it's going to be, I mean, I've read some reviews of Einstein.
Buy a brick.
People who've said it's fucking phenomenal.
Right, so I want a lager yeast. I can just buy a brick.
Yeah, that's ultimately what we all want. We all want the ability to just pitch from dry and not have to fuck around with starters. I think that's something that's coming. I think it's coming very soon. I also think that there are some dried yeast coming soon that are going to blow people's fucking minds. So yeah, maybe before we give away too many things, we should maybe end this podcast.
I think we ought to tie it up. And given as we've been trotting on for 2.5 hours, that's quite long enough.
Yes, I do believe so. Right.
2.5?
2.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Gentlemen, episode 86 is in the bag. Let's call it there. Thanks everybody for joining us, and thanks everybody who's bought these beers and is drinking along with us. I hope that you've enjoyed drinking these beers, even though the last one was as divisive as it was. All three of them were fucking amazing beers. I just think that the last one was
the best.
Yeah, well, there we go, and hence it's as divisive as it is. Mark is asking, is he the only one who makes notes while he's watching this? Probably not, Mark, to be fair. I make notes, so I understand what the fuck I'm talking about when people ask me questions. But
that's good. You're getting golden nuggets, mate. If you're getting golden nuggets, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Golden nuggets are the best thing. Guys, thanks very much for joining us. We have had new Patreons galore over the last 3 to 4 weeks. We haven't managed to have Tricky on this episode to be able to edit the intro, but everybody who's a Patreon of this podcast, we love you all. You are really enabling us to give you some really good content, I hope, moving forward and right now. And I think that this is one of those feedback moments that we've had from our Patreons and from our subscribers who've said they wanted to be able to drink the same beers that we're drinking when we're doing the commercials. I hope this is what you guys are getting from it, because having the ability to pick them up from our sponsor, the Malt Miller, and just order them, get a glass. Awesome fucking glass, by the way. I reckon I could get through double glazing with that glass. I think this is one of those things where we're going to do this from time to time, and we'll always give you guys enough notice to be able to tell us what you want and to be able to get the beers sorted from a supplier so that you can buy them and drink along with us.
Yeah.
Gilles, do not wake up Zanzi, but give her a ruffle on the back of the head for me. And guys, let's close this and let's go to an after party, shall we?
An
Yeah, we
after
can-
pie.
And we can find out all these secret yeasts.
I'm not allowed to tell them. I can't give it away. I'm sorry, I can't.
Let's go down top.
Right, the link is
For
up on the
legal
chat.
reasons.
The link is up on the chat right now. I'm going to post it in Discord right now. That meeting should be open. You should be able to just jump straight into that one right now, guys.
Okay.
Other than that, episode 86 is in the bag. Say goodbye to everybody, people.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Get another beer and join us for a chat. We'll see you in the after party. Hop Edition out.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.